Good evening everyone and welcome along to TTML F2. We are here for Season 6, round number 5 of the Championship as we take in the Dutch Grand Prix from the Zandvoort circuit. My name is James Haig, going to be taking through the stream as always on a Thursday night. And joining me in the comment box, it's not a Thursday without him, it is Mr. Pepsi Freak. Pepsi, how you doing?
I'm doing perfectly fine here today. Netherlands track got some good banking, brings out that American pride in me to see some oval banking on a F1 circuit. But other than that, though, I think this is going to be a very interesting circuit. A little bit hard to pass in certain spots, but I definitely know near the end of Sector 1, start of Sector 2, we're going to see someone daring in the end of this race throw a weird pass there, and it may end up in tears, it may end up in joy. But we're definitely going to see some, definitely going to see at least one crazy overtake here today.
There is going to be a lot of a good overtaking, I think. The last time I commentated around here, it was a pretty lacking race, to be honest, but then it all spiced up within the final 5 laps, and that's exactly what I'm expecting it to do, of course, going into tonight. Guess who won last week, by the way? Ferrens. Yes, he won once again. 4 out of 4 this season. Leroy in second, Jorg in third in terms of the podiums. What happened last week, of course, in terms of the drivers' standings? Well, Ferrens leading away on 131 points, Jorg in second on 63, Simply Superman in third on 59, Volakongan in fourth on 57, Neymar in fifth on 47, Nicholas in sixth on 41, Noisy seventh on 40, Brick FN in eighth on 38 along with David Childhood, and Dresse ran off the top 10 on 34 along with Tom. Tionis, F1AMG, Leroy and Chris ran off the top 15, Frankie Froyona, Tibos, Nathan Clark and Tomboy ran off the top 20, and Ferrens, needless to say, is absolutely dominating F2. Another win tonight, perhaps?
I feel like I want to say go against the rest of this field here, bet against someone else, but I'm looking at the rest of the field. There are some strong drivers, but it's very hard to bet against him when he's won so many races in a row that it almost feels like you're kind of giving up some false confidence. But you know what? I'll keep my optimism high here. And I think you said George earlier in the race. He could have been a threat to see something. We do got a few other drivers as well. We always got to keep out of Yona as well. Had a strong debut performance last week. Could be another face to watch out for. And we got some other surprises in his field as well, like Honey Badger. I think Bashir was here as well. Actually, he's not here, so never mind. Bovacan as well, always good in that Haas. So I think we got some chance here, but it's going to be very hard to beat Frenchie Pro here today.
Yeah, definitely, and I think, honestly, Ferrens, I think, has got all the world between himself here in F2. He's absolutely dominated so far this season. Can anybody catch him? And can anybody catch Alfa Romeo in terms of the constructors? Will remain to be seen. Alfa Romeo will lead the way in the constructors on 136 points. AlphaTauri second on 103. Haas in third on 91. Williams in fourth on 86. Mercedes in fifth on 77. Ferrari only a point behind them in sixth on 76. With Red Bull in seventh on 50. Aston Martin 8th on 20. McLaren in 9th on 18. And Alpine in 10th on 16 points. Alfa Romeo have got a 33-point advantage coming into tonight. Not enough, of course, in terms of race win advantage as Ferrens has got in the drivers' standings, but they're looking quite cool and confident, I've got to say, Alfa Romeo. Of course, both AlphaTauris, Noisy and Jorg, have, I've got to be honest, under-delivered so far.
I would kind of agree as well. They've kind of underdeveloped a little bit, but I don't personally think going into the season we thought Alfa Romeo was going to be as strong as we did. We thought they'd be up there. We didn't think they'd be the strongest, but yeah, I think personally they have underperformed a little bit, but still half the season to go here. Definitely got some chance to prove the doubters wrong, get some strong performances here, and maybe not 100% to win a championship, but definitely could at least give themselves some strong motivation going into at least the next season, or at the very least the end of this season.
Yeah, definitely so, and I think, honestly, this is probably one of the tracks that will define how the season pans out. Whether Ferrens will get another win, of course, probably is everyone's burning question. I think he will. I think he's too dominant, I've got to be honest, for this field. But, hopefully, we're going to be seeing some on-track action very soon. It looks as if we are delayed slightly in terms of the racing. I think we're waiting on the Irishman of Taze Leroy to join, of course, second place last time out in Hungary. And Pyro as well, who I think is a reserve. He is going to be joining us as well. And that is IRT Pyro, brand new driver, of course, who should be making his debut if he is not already here. But let me take you through, of course, the Zandvoort circuit. Zandvoort, of course, just about a stone's throw away from the sea as you could get. Of course, that is the North Sea as well. Yes, the sea that is literally about 3 miles away from me, living in the north of England. But Zandvoort, anyways, 4.3 kilometres and then 2.6 miles. 14 turns awaiting these guys out on track. It is one of the classic tracks of F1, and it has been known to try and provide a lot of overtaking action, as you quite rightfully mentioned, down in towards Turn 1, which is the only DRS, one of the two DRS zones actually, out on track. The other, of course, being down the back straight, you could call it, down into Turn 11.
Yeah, that is the only DRS point there as well. But like I said, most of the passing is going to happen that long straight. And something else to watch out for is, remember, because of the high altitude in the game, I think it's high. No, sorry, low, my mistake, because of the sea and all that. It's a situation where ERS is going to be very hard to save around here. So you're going to see some drivers have to be very conservative on that. And if you're very aggressive on your ERS, you're going to have problems saving it up near the end. So it's a risk-reward situation. Tack early and try to get the distance, or save up as much as you can to use for a late run.
To be honest, I think down the straight, it's going to be difficult anyways. If it's dry conditions, the DRS train is really going to play into effect. And I think, honestly, coming out of the banking, which is known as Ari Lundijk, that is a great pronunciation, I've got to say, of that first time that I've actually managed to pronounce that. But out of Ari Lundijk through 14, they've got to really get the banking. The banking is not as severe as what it was back in the 1980s when we last came here, of course, in 1980, was the last Grand Prix held here. But coming out of Ari Lundijk, you can get really a good run. Coming down the line, we should see it in qualifying how drivers tend to go towards the pit wall just to save that little bit of ground. But down the straight, it should promote a lot of overtaking. Of course, that is in towards Tarzan corner at turn 1. Around a third gear corner, 81 mile an hour to be taken through there. Taze Leroy saying, my PS is being slow, just go without me, he says, which is a real shame, but it's exactly what happened just before we were starting the stream. My PS4 was being quite slow as well. I thought the parties had went down. Luckily, we're here, luckily everyone else is here, and luckily it looks like we're going to get 18 drivers. I better get going into Zandvoort.
Yeah, indeed. One other thing I do want to point out when we're going over the track that did pop in my head is those last two corners, where especially that last corner right before the pit lane, if you just get a little bit too close to that inside grass. I've seen it happen to CWC race earlier this year, and you just get a little bit too close, car gets a little unsettled, you're going off for a spin. So it's kind of like that danger curb in Hungary with that big white one. Same property here, where if you just get a little bit too close to that grass, try to get as close as you can to get that good exit, you may end up going for a spin and end up taking the car for a ride and maybe out of the race. So the drivers will have to watch out for that here today. But like I said, as long as it's dry conditions, it should be a very fun race. Even in wet conditions, a little bit of chaos here as well. But yeah, there's also a few Dutch drivers here as well, so they're going to be trying to represent their home country, similar to the UK race in Silverstone. Yeah,
it's not like one of the leagues I formerly commentated on the Tuesday night. The guy who won the Dutch Grand Prix, TTG Macho, lives 5 minutes away from the circuit. Literally lives a stone's throw away from Zandvoort, which is unbelievable. And I think, honestly, that is fantastic to have so many Dutch drivers within the lobby tonight, of course, within the session going forward, and within this season going forward as well. Hopefully we'll get both Tom and Nathan Clark ready up very soon indeed, and hopefully it is going to be dry, as we are seeing on the camera angles as we go, hopefully in towards qualifying very soon indeed. If not, we're probably going to be restarting the lobby, but hopefully we're going to get into it. And hold your breath, hold your breath. It's raining!
Oh, it's raining! Yeah! I mean, oh no, this is going to be awful.
It's inters as well.
Yeah, well, it could dry out. It's only intermediates. It doesn't look too heavy, so it could be dry by the end. But, yeah, it's a situation where we're going to see intermediate tires, so yeah, it's going to be the question mark, because we don't know the weather. So it could be dry during the race, so do you try to slog it out there on a dry setup? Or if it's going to be rain for the most of it, do we see the wet setup come out? So sacrifice straight line speed for downforce is the question of the game right now.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Simply Superman, I think, is going to be one of the first men out on track. But what we'll see, in terms of this qualifying session, we will see drivers go out for multiple laps. Because the Inters dispose of about 25 to 30 litres of water, they can really dispose of the circuit, and it can get quicker and quicker as we go through. The first driver out on track, I think, is Break FN. No, it's not. It's Nathan Clark, the other Ferrari.
No, it's the other one, yeah.
Yeah, it's Nathan out on track first, coming through the banking, of course, through turn number 3. And I'm going to have to try and push up on my Dutch here as we come through turn 4, and then through Hunsel at turn 5, and then up to Rob Schlottermackerbocht. Yes, I'm really not going to pronounce these names, but still.
I wouldn't even try. I mean, you're doing better than I would. I would be butchering them way before that, so at least take pride in being a little bit better than myself.
Any Dutch viewer now in the comment section is probably thinking, James, do not try and pronounce Dutch names or Dutch corner names ever again. and I will own up to that. I will never pronounce another corner name. However, though, we are coming through down in towards turn 11, which is Hans Ernstbot, or Hans Ernst corner, as we come through turn 11, the right-hander, and then through turn 12, and then in towards Ari Lundijk at turn 13 and 14. That is one of the corners I could actually pronounce. And Tarzan coming through turn 1. But Nathan Clark, though, he is on a lap. I thought it was nearly invalid, actually, coming out the final corner, but coming through the banking, on the run now down in towards turn 1 at Tarzan, and he'll be starting off on this lap. Expect around 1:15s, I would say, possibly in terms of the intermediates around here. Normally, in terms of the drive, you'd be seeing 1:07, 1:08 times. Of course, that might have been before the patch, but Nathan Clark coming through turn 2, and then through the left-hander of turn 3, and now coming through the banking very nicely indeed as we ride on board. As we now go up the hill in towards turn 4, turn 5, and then through the little kink of turn 6, it's right-hander, and then another right-hander, 180-degree right-hander, through turn number 7, and that is now coming through in towards turn 8, which is known as Masters Box, and then we come through turn 9, which is Renault Box, or just Renault Corner, as we now come through turn 9, and then through the left-hander of turn 10. Nathan Clark looking good on this lap so far, looking clean and crisp, I've got to say, as he now opens, or would open up that DRS, but he's now down in towards turn 11 and 12. Nathan Clark through the end of the middle sector, 54.9 through the middle sector, purple out of everyone so far. However, nobody has set a purple middle sector yet at this moment in time, but Nathan Clark still purple in that middle sector, so now comes through in towards the final couple of corners. Somebody has just bettered him through the middle sector, I think, but Nathan now coming through the final couple of corners. The rain still falling out on track, and Nathan on the run to the line, taking it nice and easy, I think. I did say around the 1:15 mark, but it's a 1:18.7 from Nathan. A Simply Superman has, of course, retired from the session, and that was because of a qualifying ban for picking up too many penalty points.
Yep, that happened. Most of them happened last week at Hungary, so that's something where the stewards kind of handed out. Now Yona goes fastest with a 1:18.299 with Volvacon going P3. So it looks like 299 to 1:18 brackets right now, the current range. But I definitely think we'll probably see someone hop into the 1:17s before, at least on the intermediate tires. Obviously, if it goes dry, we'll definitely see him go to the 1:17. As we see the times coming down here, we see multiple drivers popping up. Neymar into 6th, Frenchie Fro into 5th. I think we also got a few other drivers coming across the line here, including the Aston Martin of our points leader, Ferris, coming off the last corner. Gets a little squirrely off exit. He's going to get a good exit here. Doesn't hit the wall. Doesn't hill the Brandon at Indy. And it's going to be a long run down, and it's going to be a 1:18.681. So a little bit of a human lap from Ferris here today. And it could be something that we could see. It's only lap 1, but if that's at least taken to the show, Yona right now looks like the car to beat in that McLaren.
Yeah, 1:18.2. I think Yona has probably gone early, if I've got to be honest, in terms of his pace. Ferrand's 1:18.6. He was exactly the same. He was a little bit slower, in fact, than Nathan's middle sector, but it seems like the final sector was purple out of everyone, and he went second as a result. So Ferrand is 4/10 off the pace on Yona. Yona, of course, debuted last week. Very quick driver from another league that I've commentated on. He was 800s up, actually, through the first sector. Must have made a mental mistake. But this is a real characteristic of the track. We're now beginning to see a lot of traffic out on track. Nathan, by the way, came across the line. He didn't improve on his lap. Follow Kongan, however, 200 down to the end of the middle sector. Now coming through Ari Lundijk at turn 14, and now on the run to the line. And he, in fact, is not improving either. So I got excited there. I thought he was improving, but he's not. York goes 4th, so good improvement from him. But you can see when we do multiple laps, the drivers begin to get quicker and quicker. That's what we've seen with York. Yona also sent a lap there, and Ferrance is also down on a lap at this stage as F1 AMG goes up to 4th.
Yep, AMG up to 4th there in the Mercedes. Has strong qualifying usually always, so it's not too much of a shock here. As I think everyone's made their first attempt to Dressy about to start his lap. Only one currently on a flyer that's on lap 1 would be Radley, who just started in the other Alfa Romeo. But kind of looking at the rest of the field here, you do see a little bit of a stack up. A few drivers kind of slowing up here. But honestly, I saw Yona kind of back down here, but it looks like he's gunning for lap 2. But yeah, just to finish your point of what you said about drivers, yeah, they get warmed up here. They kind of get gripped to the track. And it's a situation where if you kind of get used to it, especially in intermediate conditions, where you can kind of use 2, 3, 4 laps because the tires don't have as much fall off as a pair of softs or a pair of mediums. So you can kind of take time to get it right.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, Yona was a 10th up coming through the end of the middle sector, and he's now coming through in towards turn 11 and 12, and then, of course, in towards Ari Lundijk at 13 and 14, but Yona purple out of everyone in the middle sector, and that's really indicative, actually. The purple middle sector seems to go off a little bit later than actually necessary, but Yona's coming through the final couple of corners. I think this is a 1:17, to be honest. Yona now running towards the line, And James is always right. It's a 117.9. I would have looked an absolute fool if I predicted that, and he said a 118 flat. But Yona out on top, 117.9. Catch me if you can, he cries. Ferrens, 2 tenths down to the end of the first sector. We're reaching his middle sector now, and he's just backed off.
Somebody else working really well, we kind of covered that. Nathan Clark, guy we watched out first. Now P2, he's split Fairness. So Fairness kind of in a bit of an odd spot here where he's currently P3. I think this is probably right now currently one of the lowest qualifying spots he's had, per se. So it's a situation where Fairness is, again, a little bit uncharted territory here, but it looks like he's gunning up for another lap here, backing off and going to go here. So we'll have to keep an eye on his third lap here to see if he can jump up a little bit higher as well. But other than that, it looks like a few drivers are coming in. We got Frenchy Fro, Break NF, and Volvacan have all come in. But I think everyone else is at least going for one more attempt here at the very least. But we may see a few more drivers decide to take the hard right here into the pit lane. And something just happened.
It stopped raining. It has stopped raining out on track as we now come through on board with Honey Badger. Coming through 13 and 14, Harry Lundike, it has completely stopped raining now. So the track is going to dry quite quick. And now Honey Badger coming around the final couple of corners. He's 4 tenths up at the end of the middle sector. But now coming across the line, will he improve up the field? Yes, he goes 11th on the borderline, 119.4. Good lap from him. I've been reliably informed as well by Kermit in the comment section that Ferrens might have turned line off, and you can tell he's really struggling as he comes through turn 9 and then through turn 10. But this could be an insight to the future. He's thinking turning line off now, really beginning to struggle. You can tell the track is beginning to dry, and Ferrens actually backs off as well. So either he's got us in his ears, quite literally, listening to the stream, and they come on board with him and he just backs off a lap whenever I go on board with him, or he just cannot grip down on a lap so far. And that's because, obviously, I totally commend him for turning line off, by the way, and I think it'll be fantastic. And as I say, it looks towards the future, per se, because if he's dominating here in F2, he'll be an F1 driver next season, and of course, that's no assist.
Yeah, and I guess it's not even a bad strategy now, especially with such a big points lead per se. Use this time to kind of adjust in real-life situations to get adjusted. So I think he's going for another attempt as he just started speeding up, so I don't think he thinks it's dry enough yet, as we see Clark and Volvacan both in the pits right now, selecting mediums and softs respectively, but it looks like Fairness thinks it's just still wet enough that he can get one more attempt out of those intermediate tires with about 9 minutes to go. But yeah, to finish my thought though, it makes sense to do it now in race situations rather than just kind of trying a time trial, because at the end of the day, time trial is a different beast in comparison to the race. So again, praise to Fairness to try to get the line off, and you go get him, as you would say.
Hey, definitely don't want to condemn somebody for turning the line off. I like how the wording changed there.
Down to D5. You're going down to Division 5 for turning that line off. You start shaking the fist like an old man. Back in my day, we had line assist and all that. Honey Badger's lost his front wing coming up the hill through turn 4. Yes. Spun it coming out the banking, I think, and it's very rare that you can spin, but I have seen drivers spin there, and Honey Badger obviously claimed victim, 118.9. He's up into 6th position, 5 laps he's done on that sort of intermediate condition tyre. But you can tell now, track is really beginning to weather in, the track is really beginning to dry out, and that's why a majority of the guys are still either on an out lap, like Nathan Clark is on a set of medium compounded tyre, or you've got Ferrens, of course, who's still on a lap on a set of inters. And I think I spied a purple middle sector as he hits the wall, coming out of Ari Lundike. Luckily, no front wing damage at all. But Ferrens into the pit lane, clean, not happy with that. Honey Badger's lost his front wing as well. But Nathan Clark and Lewis, I think, are drivers that are out there on a dry set of tyres. In fact, Lewis is on a set of inters, but Nathan Clark is on a set of mediums, and why not be? Because your DRS has just been enabled. Yeah, I was watching that last lap by Fairness there. He was 7 tenths down at the end of sector 2, so clearly that track is now dry. It's no longer intermediate conditions. So yeah, it's a question of going out there, but the question is, if you go out there right about now on a set of softs, you probably can get 2 runs at it, then pit and get another, so 1 run. But if you go out there and wait, you may only get 1 attempt at it. So we'll see what the field does here, because everyone's going to be going out there one more time except Simple Superman, because obviously he's a qualifying ban. No one's going to be confident on that time. That time will be beaten. So the question is how late you decide to go here and see how much the track can get rubbered up. And you take a strategy like Nathan Clark right now, who is going to be kind of the pusher on the mediums, as they would say, and he's going to kind of lead the charge and see if the circuit per se is dry enough for, I would say not dry enough, but at the very least rubber it in for the soft runners and maybe go for a soft near the end.
Well, I'm on board with Nathan. And honestly, this track is looking still very, very greasy. And Dressy, I think, said in the comment section that he'd be hoping that the conditions would dry towards the end of the race. This track does dry quite quick, but if you've got the right cloud cover like you do now, the track won't really go through. Yeah, he's 4 seconds down. But he has backed off his lap. He's just seeming like he hasn't got any grip. He can't weather in those tyres just yet. And I think anybody that's in the pit lane at the minute, you may as well wait it out. Come out with about 4 minutes to go. Try and get 2 laps in. And probably be the last man to cross the line. Because it could be the last man that crosses the line could get pole position. But Nathan about to start off the lap. Hopefully this is going to be a lot more cleaner than what he did coming out of turn 1. And again, you can just tell hesitation coming through turn 1, but this now looks more committed, I've got to say, from Nathan.
Maybe he's feeling more confident now, knowing at the very least. But like I said, if he bins it now, he's going to fall down the order very aggressively and could be down 17th. But I think a lot of drivers not take your advice. Almost everyone is on an outlet except for Fairness and Volvacan. And so it's a situation where they're kind of waiting it out here along with Frenchy Fro as well. But the thing is, if everyone doesn't go out, then the track stays kind of greasy-ish because no one's making a dry line or freshening the water off the circuit. It will naturally dry, but you're still not going to have as peak performances. You need some drivers to go out there, kind of like in Mazda. You need someone to make the tow. I think what the Haas is a bit slow. I just want to make sure he didn't crash it because he's kind of in a weird spot. Yeah, Dressier, has crashed it, or at least lost it. No damage, but he at least has got it refired at the very least. But Nathan Clark is now 1.4 up on his times here, so he's looking good at the very least, definitely to get into the 116 bracket. But is it going to be enough? And will the softeners on a softer tire on maybe a more greasy track be able to beat it? As I think Honey Badger's also lost it as well.
Yeah, Honey Badger's also coming out of turn 10, I think that is. Nathan, no, coming around the final corner. Oh my god! Nearly loses it coming out the final corner. He's straight back into the pit lane thinking, you know what, I'm going to get a new change of underwear, I think. Nathan, though, into the pit lane. He was 1.5 seconds up. F1AMG, by the way, is 8 tenths up on a set of soft compound tyre. So it seems like mediums are one to be on. I think it was an AlphaTauri that was rounding behind. That might have been Jorg just off track. F1AMG, though, is looking like the first to improve as Chiona, 16.4, improves. So now we begin to see the track evolution begin to kick in. F1AMG, I think, is going to go a lot quicker than what Chiona has said. As well, we see Iona, 14.5. I still think F1AMG could even go maybe between the both. I don't think he's going to be as quick as Iona to the line. Yeah, 15.2, he's about 7 tenths up. But now we begin to see the track evolution come in. And I mean, if you're somebody like Tom further down in 17th, you're 2 seconds up on your time through the end of the first sector.
Yeah, you're 2 seconds up, and that's going to put you right now P7, P6. Now, Neymar goes to 114, but still going to be a little bit slow. We'll see what he does in the third sector here, at least looking at the times. But yeah, we're going to see a lot of drivers jump up here. So now Neymar is P1, and I think the point now he's 5 seconds up. That would put him in a 115, so that would put him currently P3 at the very least. We'll see what he does to the end of the third sector here. But it's a situation where, like I said, is your latest you want to go here because you get more greasy circuit as something has really happened that's catching your eye over there.
I've just seen Raleigh. I'm not sure if he lost it coming out of the banking, but he's just trying to reverse down the pit lane. That is unbelievable. He got reset to track, albeit, but that is the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. Caught it quite late, but he was reversing pretty much down the pit lane, just slowly. I think he must have spun it coming out the final corner for him to do that, and then end up somehow in between the gap that goes into the pit lane. That was very strange. He got reset to track, though.
Oh, so he basically Austin Powers it, as they would say. Yeah. Just lodged it between the front and back. So he got stuck. But yeah, Tom, now P1, as they would say. Kind of wish I saw it. I was kind of keeping an eye on Tom there. So now Volvacan P1 with 113.307. So times are beginning to fall here. And if you're anyone coming in right now, you got 2 minutes to go here. So you're going to go out there one more time on a set of softs. So everyone is going out there at least one more time to try to break into that bracket. And I think right now, Break NFN is going out there and set us off maybe a bit early to try to make your final run here. But we'll see how many drivers decide to time it. As I think, Volvacan and Tom, they're going to have to hurry around here because they got 2 minutes. They'll get in the pit lane. But yeah, you're definitely going to have one more push lap here to try it. And we'll see if anyone tries anything risky or aggressive here. I think Frenchy Fro has selected on a set of mediums, and Tibos, for some reason, in the pit lane is on a set of intermediates.
Yeah, I don't think he selected his tyre just yet. And honestly, these guys are now beginning to panic, I think. This will be panic stations now for the guys that are still in the pit lane. They're not going to get a fresh set of soft compound tyres. I mean, Tom's just came into the pit lane a minute to go before technically the cut-off period actually is to try and get a lap set in, and he's going to have to get out.
I think he's got enough time. Remember, it's 2 minutes to go right now. As long as he leaves with about 1:30 on the clock, he'll have one attempt at it. So he's got about 40 seconds to try to get that situated. So I think he'll be fine. He's cutting it close. One mistake on his outlap, or he gets held up a little bit, and that's curtains for his chance. Now Yona heads out there. But I think he'll be okay, but he's going to have to be lickety-quick. He's going to have to be the Flash in there, switching tires. That crew. I kind of wish now Louis Rocks now goes P1. I kind of wish it was an option where you could just say, all right, just come in like a normal pit stop. Just select the option. All right, we're pit stopping here. Just switch the tires and let me go out there. We're not doing much. Now Fairness goes P1 with a 1:11.471. But I feel like Yona's definitely going to have an answer about that, along with a few other drivers. I think Tom has now officially headed out with a minute 28, so he is good to go at the very least for one more attempt.
He is good to go. Raleigh as well is coming to the end of the middle sector. He's the next one to come across the line to set a lap. He's 5.9 seconds up to the middle sector, but the track evolution is still very key. Ferentz's 1:11.4 will be beat. He will, if he gets another lap in, it will be beat, and Ferentz has got to try and get another lap in. If he's got high fuel load, hopefully that is the case. Raleigh, however, his teammate's coming around the final corner, and he's on a good lap here. I think he might fit into third here. Comes across the line, goes second, in fact, so 1:11.8, good improvement from him. Kongan is just starting up on a lap as well. He's 9/10 up through the end of the first sector, so drivers now really beginning to feel that the track is improving. Frankie throws 2.2 seconds up on a set of mediums. Jorg coming across the line there, just setting up on a lap as well. But everyone on an out lap gonna have to get out of the way, and if you're Nathan Clark, certainly in the end of the middle sector, you're going to have to try and find a little bit of time, because there's no point in waiting for drivers to pass you.
I mean, he's got just enough time, but same thing with Fairness as well. But Fairness is on a cooldown lap, so he doesn't have to worry. So Ferrari's going to have to go around here. You got about, I can't tell how much time left because of the sector clock, but it's a situation where I think he's going to get about 10 seconds. He's got 18 seconds. He'll be fine to make an attempt. And I think everyone will get one more attempt here. Now he's got enough space that he won't kind of run to the back of Tom here. But he's going to have Tom go, go, go. And that's everyone making an attempt here. So this is not put up or shut up. It's now Volvacan. He could even have one more attempt if he wants it. But I think he'll kind of call that a lap at a 1:10.918. That's end of session. Frenchie Fro has done it. He's done P4. We got, I think, Honey Badger losing it as well. I just saw him spin it. And he's now done for day as well with the 1:18.982. Then we got Dressier. So both Haas's right now provisional 1-2. But I definitely think that time will come down.
That time will come down. Ferentz is the final man out on track, and he's already 6/10 up. So Ferentz is 6/10 up on this lap time. We will see a lot of improvements. As I say, that Jorg is just going quick. It's 1:10.4.
AMG's
Ferentz,
spun.
Though, as AMG, yeah, he's spun coming through turn 9. And now there's a car getting out of the way. Break FN getting out of the way. Raleigh getting out of the way. These guys are done. Yona goes quick as 1:10 flat. What can Ferentz do, though? Through the end of this middle sector, can he try and improve? 48.8. He's 1.1 seconds up. Is it enough, though? He's got to find 0.2 of a second in this final lap. It might not seem like much through the final sector, but he is on the limit. Ferentz now coming around the final corner. Will he complete his domination? He's the final man to come across the line on a lap. Ferentz running to the line. I think this could be Paul. He comes to the line, and he doesn't do it. It's Yona on Paul, I think. Yona on Paul. Is anybody else out there on time? I don't think there is. Everyone has backed off.
It's a cooldown lap. Yep.
Yeah, everyone's done.
Driver, but he's on a cooldown lap, so that is pole for Yona. So Yona has bested Fairness here today, and he'll be P1, but doesn't always mean anything. As we've seen multiple times where driver on pole doesn't end up holding a spot. So Fairness, though, with no line, hey, P2 for him. That just shows he does have pace even without that line on. But yeah, that is Jonah with pole position. And Clark actually went up P3, but I was watching the end of Clark's lap there. I just want to finish my point here on this. Clark was basically going through like in a obstacle course. He was saying his cars were all pulling over or spitting out, and he had to just kind of weave through them like it was an obstacle course. It was kind of fun to watch, and P3 for him. Good for the Ferrari.
But Yona, with that lap, a 1:10 flat, he hangs on to pole position, which is unbelievable. Ferentz has been knocked off his perch in second position, albeit he got 3 laps in, but I honestly think that traffic coming onto his lap really affected him, because he was the final man out on track. He didn't really have a toe to try and pick up. Yona, I think, did. So Yona, 0.04 of a second ahead of Ferentz as we go, of course, toward the end of qualifying and then towards, of course, the race. 36 laps awaiting the drivers, of course, out on track. Let us have a look then at the grid order, and it is Yona out on top. Ferentz in second, not bad if you're a Dutch fan. First and second, Nathan Clark in third with Jorg in full, so 3 out of the top 4 are Dutchies. Neymar and Faith with Noisy in 6th, Tom in 7th, Tibos in 8th, Volkongan in 9th, and Tionis, who I thought was going to do quite well in the session, is down in P10. Dresse in 11th, Lewis Rocks in 12th, Frankie Phil 13th, Raleigh 14th. Everyone MG spun on his final lap, so didn't get a lap time set in. Neither did Honey Badger, neither did Break FN, and Simply Superman, of course, having his qualifying ban. But Yona out on top, Ferenson second. Yona, for fact's sake, he was that for fact's sake. Yes, I hope you got that. He was
Fact's
second.
sake, indeed.
The FRL race that I commentated on Tuesday around here in Zandvoort, it was a few weeks ago. Yona was second on the grid. He DNF'd out of the race. Will that form come back to haunt him?
I mean, if we look at last week as Hungary, because we'll use at this league as well as a metric point, he did well, but made that slight mistake, and he got saved by a late safety car. But he's a little bit prone to mistakes here. So it is kind of cloudy here. I don't know if rain's on the way, but
Dry.
I would not be shocked with how... Oh, it is dry? All right. Well, I know it's dry now, but maybe by the end, who knows. But the situation, at the very least, though, it's a situation where Yona is... the best way to describe Yona is... I'm losing my train of thought here. Yona needs to be consistent. Hungary was kind of a bit of a mistake-filled race a little bit, but was able to rebound. Hopefully he can have it here today. I wouldn't be shocked if he can bring it as well, being a Dutch driver in front of the Dutch crowd.
Yeah, Dresse, by the way, saying in the comment section, just to confirm, it is going to be a dry race. So it is a dry race throughout the 36 laps. But you never know with Codemasters. They do like to throw a little bit of spanner into the works. We're about to get going, of course, for the formation up. Let us know in the comment section who you are predicting for the win. I know Luca is probably going to be supporting Yona. He is a Yona supporter. But... who is going to be out on top? Ferens and Yona looking at the front row of the grid, of course. Nathan Clark and Jorg in behind. But let's have a look further down the field in terms of the strategies. And interesting, actually, Raleigh and Break FN go for a set of soft compounded tyres. Everyone else on a set of medium compounded tyres. So that clearly screams out to me one-stop strategy on an alternate on an alternate strategy.
I look at Rally and Break right now, kind of thinking about set of softs. I don't know if that's the right call, especially being that far behind the 8-ball. I just don't know, because again, it's not like an easy passing circuit, so they're going to have to make quick work. We saw Raleigh had some pace of qualifying Break as well, but I just don't know if I like that call per se. Again, I'm always someone who likes to go softs, but being that far back, I just don't know if that's something the greatest call, though, especially knowing this track is a little bit prone to at least a safety car. But other than that, though, one other thing I've noticed, like I said, through the season trends right now, it always seems to be McLaren versus Fairness here today, and that trend has not stopped. So the McLarens versus Fairness, even though right now Fairness is, I think, 5-0 at the very least. So McLaren trying to get a 1 in that column to at least have some pride over Fairness here today.
Yeah, they're trying to, and I think, honestly, what Yona has got to hope for is a much better start than Ferens. Ferens has to try and bog down off the start, and Nathan could get him down towards Terminal. And that'll be the hope, I think, from Yona, because Yona's starts are normally quite good. Ferens' starts are normally quite good. So both of them are going to probably off the launch phase together, but it's that second phase of the start, of course, who will come out on top on the very short run down in towards Turn 1. It's something only like 190 metres, I think, down in towards Turn 1. And that is, of course, a Tarzan corner. So it is going to be a little bit of a race. I've seen the GT3 cars go around here. We could have chaos off the start as well, but you never know. Predict the pit stop strategy just coming up on my screen. Softs to hard, lap 11 to 13, 2-stop 10 to 13, and 21 to 25 it seems on a 2-stop strategy. Pepsi, though, I'm going to come across to you. Who's your top 3?
I got not Buck. I'm going to go Dutch top 3. I'm going to go Yona, Fairness, and York. Sorry, British Clark, but I'm going to go top 3 all Dutch.
Very interesting. We'll see, of course, as that prediction comes out. But 36 laps now waiting the guys out on track. I wish we had a better camera angle than this, by the way. I'm going to have to try and flick it quite quickly onto the starting grid. And now the Father and Lights are about to go out here in Zandvoort for round number 5 of the championship. And eventually, it is lights down, away we go, and Ferens gets a better start than Yona, and Yona's going to be under pressure down in towards Turn 1, and Nathan's actually got Ferens off the start, which is really good, and now we can hold him into a little bit of a box as Yona goes through Turn 1 safely. Nathan tries to go all the way around the outside, the other Ferrari's off in the background, and Nathan all the way around the outside of Yona, through Turn 2, what a move! Nathan into the lead of the race, Yona in second, Ferens in third, bit of a Constantino effect in behind, there's 3 wide, I think. Neymar, Tom, and Noisy further down the field. Noisy is certainly going side by side, with Tom up the hill in towards Turn 6 and 7, and now as we come through Turn 7, Noisy just has to back out of that, and Tom remains in position. But Nathan, what a start from him, leading the way through the first half a lap. He's 4 tenths clear of Yona. It's almost as if he's got a professional driving.
Maybe it's like that Formula E race during quarantine where that actual driver got a ringer to come in. But it's a situation where the British driver just said, all right, I don't care if the Dutch are here today. I'm going to take the lead lap 1. And because Yona covered fairness, and Clark was like, all right, I'll take that. Thank you very much. So Yona was trying to thought the front was fairness. Instead, it was the Ferrari behind him. But other than that, we also break it. And he did get a little bit shoved wide. That's why he went off to the kitty litter. He's now in 17th respectively right now. But at the end of lap 1, everyone's kept it clean. I don't see any major damage except for Break FN, who may be a little bit, got some sand in the tires. But other than that, though, we'll see if anyone makes any crazy passes here going off this corner. But I just think with no DRS, no one's going to be that daring on the brakes yet. Well, AMG's kind of close. But yeah, he's not going to make a move on Jonas. And Break FN has passed Simply Superman, and Frenchro is in the pits.
Yeah, Frankie Thought, I think, had a bit of a mistake coming out of turn 8, if I'm not mistaken. He ran wide. Not sure if he got caught up in a bit of a collision. He's into the pit lane. He is repairing his front wing. So obviously there's been some sort of contact. I think he was around sort of rally area beforehand.
He collided with, looking at the incidents, he collided with Jonas on lap 1, so the McLarens. That's where he may have ran into the back of him on a little bit of a stack up with everyone else around him. At least it's my guesses.
Yeah, I was close enough, to be honest. I mean, Raleigh's in 13th. Jonas is only 2 positions ahead in 11th. So around that sort of field we're thinking the contact was made. Nathan not leading the way. He got a really good start, but now Yona is beginning to try and pressure him up. And the front 3 are now beginning to pull away from Jorg, who is, I've got to say, a little bit struggling in 4th position. He's 8/10 behind. Breck FM, by the way, getting the move done on Louis down in towards turn 12. So he is now through on that set of medium compounded tyres. Of course, the Aston Martin is, and he's there down in 16th position. But on settling down, a very good start by everyone. I think Jonas just made a mistake, actually, slightly coming out of turn 13 and 14 at Harry Lundijk, but Nathan leading the way, Jona in second, Ference in third, and now DRS is now enabled. Further down the field, F1AMG is about to look for an overtake on Jonas. Down the inside, the German goes. Is he going to try and risk it? He does, on a set of mediums, compared, of course, to Jonas, the Norwegian, on a set of softs, and with the traction, Jonas is much quicker away from the corner, and he still remains in P11.
He is in P11 as well, but I think AMG's definitely going to have a chance here sooner rather than later, and we'll see if he can force something around. Not here, though. I think it would be very daring to try it unless there was a big opening. Yeah, he'll just kind of tuck in line here. We'll definitely see a pass out. But yeah, Jorg is now out of DRS range from the top 3, so the top 3 have broken away from 4th, and then there's a big train behind him, so Jorg kind of has to get a move on if he wants to connect that train back together and stay in DRS range, or else AMG could, Neymar could force a move, but he's almost, he's about a second behind Jorg, as I think AMG just threw a move on Jonas.
No.
He has, and there's the, oh yeah, he has, and then Raleigh is making a move on the McLaren as well, so the McLaren just lost 2 for 1 there.
I think Jonas made a mistake coming out of turn 9. That's why I said no, and then Raleigh's down the inside line of F1AMG, and F1AMG hangs on into 11. But both of them are through, nonetheless, on Jonas. I think Jonas just caught a little bit sideways coming out of turn 8. He made a mistake, and there was literally a partner of the Red Sea to either side. F1AMG on the right-hand side, Raleigh down the inside of him, and now Honey Badger's going to be under pressure on this contact. Break FN and Lewis Rocks has been caught up in that as well, I think. If I'm not mistaken, he's into the pit lane as well. So unfortunate, the contact was made. Break FN spun, going down the inside line of Harry Lundijk. I think, honestly, you must have been mad to try and go for that move.
I don't think that was a brave move as well, but I think I looked from the angle. Looked at Honey Badger, made twitch just a bit, though. Probably couldn't have called racing into regardless. But yeah, Break FN, kind of an odd place to make a pass. But I did say there in the pre-race, someone was going to spin there because it's just, if you clip the grass, it's all she wrote. And that's what happened there. As now Break FN has already had 2 kind of incidents here today. And he's going to be coming in the pit lane here. Definitely going to need a safety car to get back in this thing. As we do see Yona kind of still on the back of Clark. But fairness, he's there, but he looks like he's not as aggressively attacking as you think he would the previous 5 races. He is kind of a little bit of a distance between him and Yona is forming, unlike in previous weeks where he was always hounding the back of the McLaren, whoever was in front of him.
If I was Ference, I'd honestly be getting on the back of Yona. Yona's got 98% of ERS to use up. Pretty much a full ERS usage. And now I think he's probably going to use it for the race lead. Down through Harry Lundijk at turn 13 and 14. Now used up to good effect. And look at the straight line speed of the McLaren. Pulls it to the inside line. The Ferrari has no response. Tries to go and go for the switchback underneath. Doesn't happen. Yona through and he's into the lead of the race. Very, very simple move that by Yona. Waited patiently. But now the front two begin to pull away from Ference, and I just think if I was Ference, I'd be using a bit of deployment up the hill here. He's 5/10 away from Nathan Clark, but Nathan seems to be struggling slightly, overheating his tyres, so Ference has got to try and apply that pressure, and then Nathan, of course, can make a mistake and possibly even force Yona into a mistake as well.
I think the one kryptonite, of fairness, though, is he doesn't really save his ERS that well. I mean, he's at 30%, Clark's at 67, and Jonah's at 80. And this is a track where, again, ERS is very hard to save up here. So fairness is kryptonite, maybe that. And it's easier said than done to catch up here, so we'll see if he can do it per se. As you like Sector 2, that is the AlphaTauri of Noisy spinning around. And he looks like he'll get it refired. No damage. His teammate, the Williams, almost hits him. Luckily, ghosting is on. If not, that would have been catastrophic. But yeah, fairness here, still on the back of him. We'll see if he can get a good run here. Nah, he's not going to be close enough to make anything happen, but definitely going to try to use some deployments. Now, McLaren has retired from the session. He's crashed. That could be a safety car. It is a safety car. So, Fields neutral. Here comes Yona in the pits along with Clark. Everyone taking the hard right. Luckily, that came out there, else that would have been maybe curtains for Yona.
Luckily for Yona as well, he didn't cut across the white line coming into the pit entry, and I know pit entry and pit exits are certainly getting looked at in terms of the stewards now. I know there was a rule change in terms of that. Neymar has stayed out, which is quite interesting. Dresse in second. Does Neymar realise, though, that the double stack actually is cut down now from 10 seconds down to 4 seconds? Because I saw that in action on Tuesday in terms of the double stack between cars. There were safety cars there. Neymar could have easily pitted in there. I still think he would have been further down than what he was, but he now leads the way. He's on a set of soft compound tyres, and I think, honestly, above hope, he's probably hoping that there's going to be another safety car just for him to carry those softs further into the race.
Chaos does bring chaos. Remember, both Red Bulls are in front of the pit box of Mercedes, and they both double stack. So if he came in, he would have been stuck by Tom while he was waiting. So it would have still been like maybe 4 or 8 seconds at the very least. So it's a situation where he wouldn't have lost too much time, but I think he's just banking on another safety cars breed safety cars. And Yona is actually P3. He's actually had to sit the Superman, who also stayed out as well. So Yona's going to have a buffer car if Superman does not come in from 5th and 6th respectively. But yeah, a bit of a mixed bag here. But again, Neymar knows what he's doing per se. He's been here around the block more than once, so maybe it's all part of the game. We've seen some strategies that we personally think may not work out, and they end up working out. So we'll see if Neymar knows something that we don't.
Yeah, definitely, and I think, honestly, Neymar is a very good driver. He's a brilliant driver on his day, and if he can try and get those softs to around lap 13, 14, I'm thinking he's got a really good chance of getting a set of mediums towards the end of the race. And speaking of a set of mediums, actually, as F1AMG and Frankie Fro are on a set of mediums, F1AMG I'm looking at in particular, he's on a set of medium compound tyre, the German in 11th position. Can he get those tyres to the end of the race? Obviously, in Frankie Fro's case, probably not, because he's into the pit lane. But F1AMG, can he get those tyres to the end of the race? He'd be hoping, I think, for more safety cars to try and get them to the end.
That is... Oh, I'm doing math here. About 27, 28 laps. That is not favorable on a set of mediums. I don't think he makes it to the end by chance. There's no way those mediums make it 27, 28 laps. I know it's not tire wear's not too bad around here, but I just don't like those odds. He's definitely going for a strategy where he's going soft, medium, soft, I assume. Neymar could be going for an alternative one stop. But yeah, I just don't think he makes it to the end of that strategy. Hards are the way to go, and they could make it 30 laps, but I guess the throwback question is, do you think any of the hard runners make it to the end? Because I think there's question marks in that as well.
No, I think the hards, in terms of it's quite low tyre wear around here at Zandvoort. It's something like 4 or 5% a lap on a set of softs. So you can probably imagine what it's like on a set of hards. It'll probably only be about 3-4% a lap, if that, given the nature of the drivers' the drivers' driving styles, essentially. So they're going to be over pushing those tyres. But I think the likes of Yona, the likes of Ferrens especially, they're so good on their tyres, the safety car is going to come in this lap. Yeah, and the set of hards, I think they're just going to be so good on their tyres that they can make those hards towards the end of the race. I mean, 30 laps, roughly, on a set of hards. I've seen it done before, and it's pretty easy without getting to 70% tyre wear to try and do that. But Neymar is now the virtual Bernd Marlander. He is now the virtual safety car out on track, and he'll be hoping, of course, to try and split this field apart as much as possible. Now through Harry Lundijk at turn 13, and then through the banking of turn 14, which is also known as Harry Lundijk, as we now come through the banking. And Neymar's going to leave this quite late, I think. Dresse in behind will take on board with Dresse for the restart, and Neymar now says go with the exit of the banking through Harry Lundijk, and he gets a really good stop, and in behind, Ferrens has got a great start on Nathan, and Nathan, in fact, is into the pit lane.
Kind of odd. Didn't have a penalty or anything from what I saw, so very odd that he decided to come in there. I don't know. He's changing his front wing, so I think he may have hit something in the back. So that is not good for the Ferrari that was leading the way. The one British driver, I think Yo just ran in the back of Dressier. No damage, I assume, but definitely very close call here. And I think maybe they might coming to late stage for great safety cars.
Noisy in the wall. Frankie Fro had a bit of snap of overseer coming out of the banking, and Noisy is round coming through the banking section. He's off track. His car is like literally going into the barrier, kind of, but Noisy's out of the race. Don't think they'll deploy a safety car. I think it's probably too late now, but there was a little bit of a touch there.
Late last week.
Yeah, it was very late last week. It was very late last week, and yeah, I mean, F1AMG...
It's too late.
Yeah, F1AMG in 10th position. He's on the set of mediums. He's right on the back of Raleigh, but he got caught up in that incident. He got a little bit sideways coming out of turn 3, and Noisy and Frankie throwing behind. Frankie Throw was on the outside line. I think Noisy, to be honest, didn't give enough room, and that's why the contact was made. But Frankie Throw had the run. Basically, wheel-on-wheel contact really doesn't work. Oh, it's Libby's Roxas now spun. Coming through the banking. Front wing damage completely on the car, and that can now deploy safety cars. Ference goes for Simply Superman. Down into P4 he goes. So Ference is turning into P4. Simply Superman and P4. God, it's all happening now.
That is, I was looking up there, I was watching Rally past AMG for 9, so Rally is making some moves up here per se. Those hards are coming in. Neymar as well, kind of pulling away from Dressier. Dressier, again, both on the tires did not pit, are still 1-2, so they are kind of leading a train here. So they're not pulling that too far here. I think Honey Badger may be under pressure here from Tom. I know Tom's a little bit too far back to make something happen, but look kind of close here. But yeah, a little bit of chaos here on lap 1, no safety car, so Neymar was kind of hoping maybe one would come out quick, and it has not happened so far.
It hasn't happened so far. Honey Badger on the back of F1AMG and all of that as well.
Yeah, P9 on down. That's a big train for him from 9th to 14th. That's long. It's a very big train. I'm just noticing that someone's going to get antsy and throw something out there. That could be pure chaos if it happens.
I think F1AMG is probably too wise not to go for the move. I think, honestly, he'll just sit back, wait for Raleigh to try and latch onto the back of Volokongan. And Volokongan, to be fair, is dropping back as well from Tom. So he's going to be hoping, above hope, so actually F1AMG now probably going to get the move done. He looked to the inside of the banking, didn't get the move done there, but now down in towards turn 1 at Tarzan. Is he going to get the move done now? Pulls alongside the Alfa Romeo, but I think the Alfa Romeo has just about got the legs. Has he got the brakes? So F1AMG nearly into the side of him, nearly contact, but Raleigh comes across with that, still in P9, F1AMG and still in P10. And Break FN and Frankie for having a good battle in behind. Now coming through the banking of turn 3, and Break FN now through, and he's into 13th position. So good move there. Frankie Fro was really fighting hard on the back of him, but the Ferrari just about holds sway.
Looking up the field here right now, we do got Ference on the back of Jonah. Again, no pass really going to happen here, but we definitely can see something happen sooner rather than later, because if Jonah doesn't make a move, because we saw that last week, Jonah was very conservative on his overtakes. He really did not force the issue when he didn't need to, probably when he should have, and now Ference caught the back of Jonah. It's a situation where if Dressy kind of picks Jonah a little bit too much, Ference could make a move here, so we'll see on this long straight if something happens, per se. We also got AMG kind of catching the back of Rallier, but nothing really going to happen there as well.
I've just seen the F3 stream, by the way. They've only got 11 drivers going, and it's only lap 12. We're about to go into lap 11 here, and we've only got 16 drivers, which is brilliant, and pretty much similar attendances as well. But Neymar leading the way, Dressy in second, Jonah in third. Jonah gaining on the back of Dressy, not going to get the move done. I think F1AMG, however, on the back of Raleigh is on. Now down the inside line, deployment in effect. Can he get the move done on the brakes? Raleigh is so much later on the brakes, and he overcommits it through the corner, and F1AMG down the inside line. And Raleigh, I think, because of his overbrake through in towards turn 1, it spun F1AMG round. He didn't get caught on the curb, and F1AMG has stood still, and I think there's going to be a lot of frustration in the Mercedes guy's helmet at this moment in time, and in fact it deploys a safety car for basically a parked car out on track, which is...
Yes, something that happened last year too, and early in the game development, where his car could be parked randomly on the circuit, they'll throw a safety car, yet two cars could be completely wheels off and not more than just a whisker. So, very odd stewarding kind of calls here sometime, and that is what Neymar probably want to see, along with Dressier. They can get a net free pit stop, but it's also going to allow Jonah, Ference, and the rest of the field to kind of stretch those mediums, hards to get to the end. But here's a question: does anyone take a risk, go for a set of mediums here, thinking they can make it? Because it's a lot more of a reasonable distance now than it was 5-6 laps ago.
I think so. I think Neymar will be in. I think Dressy and Simply Superman will be in for a set of hards. But I think Neymar will go for a set of mediums, because 25 laps, really, on a set of medium compounded tyres, they're fine. I think Neymar will get that to the end, and he's coming into the pit lane. But is he going to go white wall, or is he going to go yellow wall? Let's have a find out. Into the Mercedes garage, and he goes, predictably, for a set of medium compounded tyres. Thank you very much.
Going aggressive. Here's your 1 yen for getting that right. So we'll move on. But yeah, Dressy is staying out. Simply Superman also staying out, though. So they don't think it's time yet. They think it can go a little bit longer in the tooth. I'm kind of shocked, though. None of the hard runners made pits. Now, Clark gets 5 for speeding the pit lane. That is a kick in the teeth, because I think he's coming in for a fresh set of mediums along with AMG. Yeah, actually, he's going on a set of hards. Nathan Clark, AMG is going a front wing change and is also going on a set of hards. But I'm kind of shocked, though, you don't see someone like Tiboss or Break FN or Frenchy Fro or Honey Badger pitting right now for a set of mediums. Maybe trying an alternate strategy here and thinking that if Neymar thinks he can make it to the end, why not try something different, get a little bit of a faster tire, and see if you could take advantage of those tires by the end. Because if the tire wear isn't as bad, maybe you'll be a little bit strong and maybe take a 14th into maybe a net P8 or 7.
Yeah, I mean, Neymar's rejoining 13th position. He's latched onto the back of the safety car queue now. But you would think, in theory, he's going to be the quickest man out on track on a set of medium compounded tyres. I mean, it's only him and Dressy and Simply Superman that are out there on a set of mediums. But them two are on 11 lap old set of mediums. They've started the race on them. Neymar now in for a set of medium compounded tyres, and he's now on a fresh set, which I definitely think will get to the end of the race. I will not above hope, by the way, if he does get a puncture on lap 35 out of 36, and then I look to be an absolute fool. But Neymar,
it would be the Neymar curse.
It would be the Neymar curse.
Similar to last season, where it seemed like any time he was doing something good or this close to a victory, something bad would happen, and we would end up throwing it away. And I'm hoping Neymar gets that monkey off his back, but it would be kind of in stride to see that keep happening.
Yeah, flicking through the field, Nathan Clark is into the pit lane. So Nathan's into the this will be for his 5-second penalty. He's going on for a fresh set of mediums, I think. And also in this, he has used up the mandatory 2-stop in terms of pitting in for 2 sets of dry compounded tyres. Of course, you can go soft mediums, mediums hards, whatever strategy you'd like to go on. Nathan's going to rejoin right at the back of the field, but he's going to be on slightly fresher rubber than Neymar, so I think he'll get to them to the end very comfortably. But it's the case of trying to get through a big old DRS train, because Dressy, if he leads this DRS train and Yona is literally glued to the back of him, everyone else in behind really is not going to go anywhere.
Again, Yona was really not. I saw it. He was really sticking behind Dressy. He could have probably passed him. He didn't force it. Heck, even when the safety car just came out, he almost ran in the back of Dressy. So Yona is faster than Dressy, but no team orders here. There's no Felipe is faster than you moment. So Yona's gonna have to force the pass, or Fairness is gonna be very aggressive in the back of him. Fairness could make Yona pay. And like I said, Fairness' kryptonite maybe ERS saving. I think Yona's kryptonite is he's too conservative. Sometimes you have to make a move, even if it ends up maybe throwing it away. You have to try something, because he can get ahead of Dressy. Dressy could train up Fairness as we're about to start here. So Yona has to be aggressive here early to try to get ahead of Dressy and let Dressy be the barrel to block Fairness, Superman, and Jorg from getting closer to him.
Yeah, I mean, Yona will be hoping that Dressy goes as soon as possible for him to stick on that back of the Haas in front of him. He's obviously got his nearest title rival, in the championship leader, I should say, in Ferens, in 3rd position. But we're now under the virtual Bern Marlanders. Dressy is coming through Ariel Lundijk at turn 13, and then through the right-hander of 14. But Dressy now about to say go. Is he going to go the same points as what Neymar did? I think he might. He's going a little bit slower, in fact, on this restart than actually necessary. Could cause a little bit of Constantino effect in behind. Red Bull certainly getting close, I think, as Matt Tibos the back of Honey Badger. But this is very late from Dressy. He does not want to go, and in fact Ferens, I think, nearly went into the back of Yona there, if I'm not mistaken. But Dressy says go, and now Simply Superman, what a restart from him, but he can't overtake it now. Yona, yeah, Yona's been caught out, and now Ferens tries to go all the way around the outside, and now Jorg on the outside line, and there's already contact, and there's all sorts of carnage in the behind, and that is what you get off a restart. Break FN, I think, has lost his front wing and all of that. Dressy leads the way, Yona in second, Ferens in third. That Constantino effect was all caused by that bit of contact, but I've got to say, Dressy, in terms of that, probably backed up the field enough for that contact to be made.
I'm wondering if stewards may take a look. That is in the rule book. You can do it, but there is sometimes like a little bit of a code of ethics, you could say. Definitely not going to get any love this upcoming Christmas season. But yeah, a lot of drivers broke off wings. I think Superman had a mistake there. I think Break FN as well got some damage. So he just came in now. damaged up. AMG lost a spot. Neymar, I think, also got some damage as well.
Yeah.
So Neymar, trying to make that medium strategy work, is now going to end up taking. But something to watch is Nathan Clark up to 9th on a fresh set of mediums. So Clark, we know he has the pace to be up there with the top 3, and now he's got some fresh rubbers. I think Honey Badger's battling the Haas driver. Can he hang around the inside? Oh, it's very aggressive. You don't see pass happen there often. He's going to try to hang it around, but it's not going to be enough. And now will Tom get very antsy here and make something happen? Will one of the Red Bulls try something? Is back up the field, though. I think Yoda could have a run on Dressier.
He could do indeed on the run down and towards Tarzan at turn 1, but I don't think he's going to be close enough down and towards turn 1, and Yona waiting behind this time. Dressy leading the way, and behind, I think Nathan Clark going down the inside line of Matt Tibos as a Ferrari spinning around the background. There was a brief yellow flag, but I think it was Break FM, but Nathan Clark is through. Into P8 he goes. Lovely move on the Red Bull. Matt Tibos got absolutely done like a kipper, and now Nathan Clark is right on the back of Tom. He's there in 7th position, but for how long? Because Nathan is absolutely flying on this set of medium compound tyres, and in fact, Ferrens is beginning to attack Yona as well, coming through turn 7 and now through the right hander of turn 8. Dressy leads the way, Yona in 2nd, Ferrens in 3rd, albeit a very chaotic start. Everyone else I think got away cleanly. It's Raleigh, Neymar and Break FN who didn't. They're all into the pit lane, of course, for damage repairs to their cars, but Nathan on the back of Tom and now looks to the outside of turn 10. Ooh. And this is now going to be impossible truly to go around the outside here, but Nathan Clark, goodness me, this man is on fire here tonight. Nathan Clark is through and he's into 7th position, and my god, he looks quick.
He's got top 3 pace. We saw it there in qualifying, and they had a slight mistake threw him behind the 8 ball where he had to pit to get a front wing change. But luck has broken back his way. A few drivers crash out in front of him or at least get damaged, so he's able to get up for the field. Now he's on Honey Badger for 6th here, as I think Yona, again, will he froze this time? He has to go for it, and he just tucks him behind. He probably would be a little bit too aggressive to make it, especially with no DRS, but there's a chance he could throw it in there. And like I said, an extra buffer car may give him some chance to break away from fairness. So again, he needs to be kind of aggressive here to get some points lead, but I think he's just too conservative. But Nathan Clark, again, trying to make a move on Honey Badger, so we see a move is now Tom. I think something happened to Tom as he's pitted from P7 here for a fresh set of softs.
I think he's put it in for a fresh set of softs, thinking that there's going to be another safety car and he can get those tyres towards the end of the race. I've seen 20 laps done here on a set of soft compound tyres before, and that's because of the low tyre wear that this track actually has. So it's really not going to be affecting him as much as what we might think.
He did have a front wing change.
Oh, it's Honey Badger's round. Honey Badger's round coming out of turn 9. Spun it by himself. I think he got caught on the curb, and now spins it by himself. He recovers the car. He's in P12 still. A good point score position so far. Dresser, though, on the back of Yona, really beginning to hound the back of the Haas, and I think there's only one way, really, where this Haas is going to be going, and I think that's backwards, because Yona is on the back of Dresser. He's not as close as what he was last lap around, but remember, he's got the DRS this time around, and now the McLaren is going to go side by side. This is the easiest move you will see all night. Down the inside line, in towards turn 1 at Tarzan. Should get the move done. Has got the move done. Yona through. He's into the lead of the race as Ferrens nearly got caught up in that and nearly got forced into the wall through turn 1.
I'll eat my words there, because I think that's what would happen if Yona tried to move on Dressier, so I'll concede my point there that Yona was conservative, was probably the better approach there, but now he's going to at least have a buffer lap here, allow Dressier to kind of hold up fairness. Now Jorg has, I think, caught the back of fairness as well, so fairness is going to have to make quick work of Dressier, or else Yona's now well over almost half a second clear, three-fourths of a second clear, you could say. So it's a situation where he's able to pull away relatively quickly here, make something happen, as I think Clark's kind of go back and check on him real fast. He's kind of in a bit of no man's land, 2 seconds ahead of Tibos, but 1 second back of Volvacon, so going to have to work his way back up here. But yeah, we're going to see if fairness, how aggressive will he try to get around Dressier.
Well, I think if Dresser is outside of a second to Yona, coming through the DRS section zone, which is literally around the corner here. Lewis now, by the way, through into 8th position. I think Frankie Fro let him through. He's on the freshest strategy, is Lewis. But Yona leading the way, and I don't think Ferrens is going to be close enough. He's going to be derating probably halfway down the straight if he's not careful in terms of DRS usage. And look at that, he's 5/10 in behind, and Dresser using up that toe down and towards turn 1. Should get the move done, and he obviously stays in P2. And now F1MG, in fact, is now side by side with Frankie down and towards turn 1. The Australian and the German side by side as we now come through Tarzan at turn 1. He's on the inside line still as F1MG, but backs off, and actually Frankie Fro has the traction coming off turn 1, now through the right hander of 2, now into the banking of turn 3. He remains in P9, but I don't think he'll remain in P9 for long, and in fact, actually, I'll eat my own words there, because F1MG has just made a mistake.
Ooh, yeah, he made a slight mistake there. Again, it happens sometimes, especially in some of those corners, but luckily it doesn't look like he's got too much damage or any damage at all. So it'll be okay. It'll get recounted, but it's definitely a mistake you want to try to avoid. If you outflank Sector 1, Sector 2, that is someone slow. I think that is Honey Badger. Yes, he has spun it.
Yeah.
Yep, no damage for him, so he'll be okay, but again, definitely having some struggling around some corners here. But I'm just trying to check here, see if anyone... Yeah, Nathan Clark on the back of Obacan here, so we may see the Ferrari driver get around the Haas driver. But something else worth noting is that he's not that far away from York, who's within a second. So, if Dressy can hold up Fairness again, because Dressy's got about 8% ERS, Fairness has about 19, Yona has about 51, but the gap is still within a second, and then York's at 60. It could tow him close enough that maybe we could see Clark make those mediums work, because now he's going to go around the Haas driver here, going to try to make it smilv his butter, and he will. So put the Ferrari up to 5th, Bobacan down to 6th, and now the Ferrari sets his sights on the top 4 here, and going to try to make quick work here to try to get as close as he can.
F1AMG through into 9th position as well, gets Lewis Rocks down and towards Sermon, so good move there by F1AMG. He is on the fresher set of the set of hard compound tyres. He's in P9. Honey Badger into the pit lane. I wonder if he does have damage. I think there's not going to be a front wing change here, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he's going on to a fresh set of medium compound tyres. Will rejoin at the back of the field. Yona leading the way. Hasn't really pulled that much of a gap to Dressy. The track conditions are beginning to change as well. It's becoming a lot more cloudier out on track. Ferrens on the back of Dressy. He does not look comfortable, I've got to say. On that set of hard compound tyres, he's actually losing time to Dressy at this stage. Whether or not he's just conserving his tyres remains to be seen. But he better get a shift on, because Nathan Clark's disposed of Olakongan. He's 1.5 seconds behind on Jorg. He's catching hand over fist. Nathan's going to be on the back of these guys next lap around. And Nathan, probably the quickest man out on track, is probably going to be gaining on these two, and Ferrens needs to try and get something done.
Yeah, because right now I just noticed Yona was just got out of DRS range for a second there on that long straight. Not enough to break the toe. DRS was still for Dressy, but now he's with the 1 second. If he can just get a little bit more foot down here, Dressy will fall out of DRS range, and that will allow Fairness a little bit of an easier pass here, as it does look like he catches him in the corners. But on the straights, he doesn't seem to have anything for him, because maybe the ERS advantage there, where he's only got 13%, he's really bogged down in the straights. But it does seem like he just doesn't have that as much push off that last corner to get a good one on that straight. So maybe something to keep an eye out there. But now with no DRS, because I don't think Dressy will get close enough, it may allow Fairness to kind of make a move here. And York losing time could be under pressure from Nathan Clark relatively soon. That we'll have to wait to see. That will happen.
It will happen. Oh, as Ferrens actually gets caught in the curb coming through turn 10. And he loses the time now to Dressy. And I wonder if he's just overcommitted himself through the corners, and that's causing a little bit of mistakes out on track. Yona, by the way, having a much better race this time. He leads the way, Dressy in second. Lewis, by the way, is through an F1AMG, who I think has made a mistake coming out of turn 10. I think he might have been half spinning, and Simply Superman's on the back of him there in P11 now. So F1AMG has to try and do all of that hard work again. Dressy is into the pit lane. Now brings Ferrens into second, but now Ferrens has got a 2-second deficit to try and gain on Jorg, and literally look what has happened in behind. Exactly what I say with Nathan Clark's in the fastest lap of the race as well. Nathan's on the back of these guys. He's in there in P4. Honey Badger is off the track coming through turn 10 as well. I think he's kept that out the barrier, I think. Yeah, he has. Hit him. He's kept it off.
I think he did.
He has. Okay. Which is good. So he's still in P16 and still in the race.
Yeah, it is good. I think he did clip me slightly because I saw him close enough, but again, maybe I came in late, so I'll take your word on that one. We'll see what he does on a pit stop here. But yeah, Frenchie Furrow and Lewis battling for 6th, 7th, 8th. Tibbal's kind of having a strong performance here in that Red Bull. Haven't really noticed much from him yet. As Big Neymar and Rally are battling back there. We'll see what's happening up there. Ooh, they're having a ding-dong battle there at the very least. It looks like Rally will hold on from Neymar, but Neymar going to have to put some pressure on that Alfa Romeo driver. But just kind of finish my point, though. Yeah, Tibbal's having a sneaky fast day here. Kind of not really noticed too much, but 6th for the driver in question. That's not bad for that Red Bull driver in question.
It isn't bad at all, and I think, honestly, Matt Tibbal's a 6th. He's on the side of hard compound tyres. I think Honey Badger's gone off again coming through turn 2, the banking. Nathan, though, on the back of Jorg. Is he going to try and get the move done then and towards turn 1? No, I don't think he's deceivably close enough to try and get the move done. Frankie Fro on the back of Tibos could, possibly, if he's got the straight line speed, but he's not using up any deployment, so this is going to be still in 7th position. But Nathan right on the back of Jorg, and Jorg seems to be struggling. In fact, Nathan tries to go all the way around the outside of him, coming through the bank in at turn 3. I think Jorg just positioned his car to good effect there. Lewis now through on Frankie Fro, and he's through and he's into 7th position. I think it was an outside move coming through turn 2 there.
Oh,
so good move from him.
A pass on Rally there. Sorry to cut you off there. Neymar picks a pass, but you don't see it happen often. Will Rally have an answer back? DRS for the driver in question in the Danish one. Yeah, no bank change. chance here for Rallier. Kind of close, but no DRS is going to help him there. Neymar going to try to set the pace here, but it looks like Rallier could have an answer back here. Kind of getting a good toe on the back, but not going to shove it up the inside there. So Neymar will hold the spot for now, but definitely seeing how they're fighting and scrapping, we may see that position go back and forth before too long.
Yeah, we will. I think F1MG has caught back up to the back of Frankie Fro and Lewis, so it's looking quite good now from their perspective. Certainly from F1MG's perspective, that he's in 9th position. Nathan, though, on the back of York. Surely this is the time now to go for the move. He's right on the back of York now, 10th and a half away, coming across the line, but he's derating down the straight, and he's got hardly any ERS to use up, and in fact he's got no ERS as he goes into turn 1. So Nathan just wasting away his ERS at the points that he doesn't want to be, and now York can try and drag him onto the back of Ferrens, and I think it's nice from Nathan, but he's got to try and use up the ERS at better points of the circuit. That's what he is. Like up the hill here, he could have got the perfect run, to be honest, to try and go all the way around the outside at turn 7, but he's not going to get the move done. York stays in P3 and Nathan stays in P4. Dresse, by the way, on a set of soft compounded tyres. We failed to mention that he came into the pit lane. He's on a set of softs, and he's now on the back of a big old DRS train in 11th.
I noticed that I was looking at Super, he's on 22 lap old mediums, so he's really struggling. Those mediums definitely going to come in soon. But yeah, Dresse has net gain there, and he's fighting for every spot there. He could easily get the way back up to 7th, which is, I guess, good for Dresse. I think he started, I don't remember where he started in the race. I'll see if I can check that. I gotta find the right graphic here.
11th.
11th, yeah. Yeah, so he can be a net position right there. So yeah, he can definitely gain some spots here and be a net gain and get some good points here. But back to the battle here again with Clark. I mean, it doesn't help that York has over 40% ERS and Clark has about 10. But here he comes, going to get a good run off here. This should be easy. Honey Badger's retired from the session. I don't think that was in the pit lane. No, it was in the pit lane. Never mind. But it didn't look like Clark.
Oh, he's going for it. Down the inside line into towards Tarzan. This will be bold and brave and brilliant. What a move this is going to be from Nathan. He's surely got the full car ahead in towards turn 2. Gets the job done. Shuts off York at that pass. And that is perfect driving from Nathan there. He is soon he's into P3. York cannot live up to that. And now Nathan is soon he's into P3. But now, what can he do on that set of medium compounded tyres? He's got Ferrens ahead of him on a set of hards. He has made, by the way, 4 stops in this race as Nathan, and he's only 3.5 seconds off the lead.
Very odd strategy. Kind of reminds me of Yona last week, where Yona just made multiple stops and it ended up working out for him. Something else worth noting is Dresse up to 9th already. He made a pass to Superman AMG in that corner while I was kind of watching if Honey Badger's ghost car would come out, maybe cause some chaos. So Dresse up to 9th, could easily get 8th here or 7th. So again, keep an eye on Dresse in the back here. But I thought, going back to that Clark point for a second, it looked like he was going to make a pass. Then he bailed out of him. I'm like, okay, he's not making the pass. And then he's like, all right, I guess I'll make the pass on the inside. So he kind of even faked out me at the very least.
Oh, Dresse goes into the back of Frankie Fro. We try to look to the inside there to get the move done, and to be honest the gap was there to try and go for, and Dresse didn't, so he's waiting behind on Frankie Fro at the minute, still in P9. Leaders by the way down and towards someone. Nathan Clark not getting close enough, but Dresse out of the banking. What a run he's got now on Frankie Fro. Goodbye Frankie Fro, you can go back down under. Dresse through and he's into P8. Frankie Fro now down into P9, and again that's probably one of the easiest moves you will see all night, because Dresse has just done Frankie Fro like, I don't know, a kipper. I know I used that one early on, but still.
Oh, yes. Now they both caught Tibos kind of quickly here, so we're going to see if Lewis is going to kind of use Tibos as a little bit of a toe here. I think Lewis is probably going to have to force something soon, because Dresse on those fresh huffs going to make quick work of him, because everyone's on 18, 16 lap old hards ahead of him. So yeah, definitely going to be kind of easy-ish work if Dresse can be quick enough on it. And we'll have to wait and see is that. Again, Clark is on the back of Fairness here. We'll see if he throws something to the inside, thinking about it, but not going to do it. Yep. You always seem to know a little bit better than I do. I kind of give them hope they're going to try it. But I think your years of commentating can help predict that indeed here. So we'll see what Dresse, again, not going to probably make a move here with DRS on all train here. And just, well, he's thinking about it, but yeah, just probably looking, saying, I'm here, and kind of flashing it. So we'll see if Clark makes a move on the long straight here. We're going to see he's definitely going to get a good toe here, both on the CME ERS here. So he's going to make the toe, going to be smooth like butter. And now the British man has passed Fairness for second. And now, if he wants to spoil the Netherlands homecoming, he's got to get 3 seconds on Yona to try to win this race with 11 to go.
Lewis is closing on Matt Tibbles down in towards turn 1. This could be tight between them both down in towards turn 1, and Lewis goes all the way around the outside of Matt Tibbles on board with Dresse, who could cut underneath them both, and now he's going to get Lewis. Lewis forced out wide by Tibbles, and Dresse will take that position like taking candy from a baby. Dresse is through and he's into 7th, and now we could get Matt Tibbles up the hill in towards 7. I don't think he is. He's got 16% of VRS. Matt Tibbles has got around about the same, to be honest. So Matt Tibbles has got to try and defend hard here from Dresse, but could he just let him through and let Dresse go on his merry way and try and bring them back to Volakongan, who's 4 seconds ahead?
That may not be a bad strategy here, but Volvikon is also a teammate of Dresse. If they're in communications right now, that is a big gap, though, and can Dresse make it work? The sauce will fall off a little bit, but I think he get at least close enough, but can Tibalt stay on the back of Dresse? Because I know for a fact Louis is going to get on the back of Tibalt and fight him. So even if he lets him go, you may be under pressure. Dresse gets very squirrely off exit there. It looks like he may have misjudged the breaking point there as Clark sets fast off the race and is now 2.3 behind Yona. So he is flying. So back to Tibalt here in Dresse. We'll see if Dresse tries something at Tibalt. It should be easier said than done with DRS and the fresher tires. The gap is 3 tenths, now down to 2, now down to 1. Should be passing the Red Bull slower than molasses, and he will get past. So Dresse up to 6, Tibalt on the 7th. So now the question is, Tibalt's probably not want to let him by, but now can he get towed by Dresse up to Volvikon?
Oh, as Lewis Rocks has just made a mistake coming out of turn 1 and behind as well. He got very, very sideways at the first corner at Tarzan, and he's just lost a position to F1 AMG. Only lost 1, but it was still a moment he needed. Went in the barrier, in fact. It was a good keep out of the barrier from Lewis. He's then P9. Frankie from P10. Simply Superman's 13 seconds behind. I don't think he'll catch them before the end. Dress is 4 seconds away from Volakongan. Lewis has just picked up a first 3-second time penalty of the night. Bar Break FN, of course, who has also got one. But Nathan Clark, I was about to say, before you obviously came on board with the battle further down the field, Nathan was bringing Ference along with him. Look at the gap now, 1.1 seconds, 1.6 to Nathan. By my calculations, he's taking off about 8 tenths a lap on Yona on that set of medium compounded tyres. And this is now the time to go. Nathan has got to use everything at his disposal, including that Ferrari, to try and get to the back of Yona, because I think he'll be within DRS range this lap around.
I think he will, but the problem is I'm wondering is how quickly will those tires cliff. Is I think Louis is going to get passed by a Frenchie Fro here. Teammates fighting again, and we're going to switch off him. So Frenchie Fro up to 9th, Louis down to 10th. But I just wonder, because he's gaining time, but remember, those mediums are probably going to cliff a little bit faster than those hards will. So the question mark is, Clark's going to have to be aggressively quick on it and then just try to hold on and make them work. And it will make it to the end. Both tires will. But the question mark is, who will be slightly better? Will it be those hards, those mediums? But again, the gap's now 1.5, so he's not eating into it as much as the previous laps he has. He's only getting a little bit closer. He probably won't be in DRS range this time by, but definitely within a lap or two, if he keeps that pace, he will be for sure.
Dresse is close up to 3 seconds behind Volakongan as well, so he's getting around about the same as Nathan is on the back of Yona. It was about 8 tenths of a second last lap around. On this lap around, he's only gained about 4 or 5 tenths, so maybe now, 13, 14 laps into the stint, this is the time where Nathan's tyres are beginning to start to go off and begin to overheat, and Yona's tyres then start to come into play. But Nathan has done a phenomenal job. He's pitted 4 times, by the way, in this race, and I do not know how somebody who's pitted 4 times can be in second position and barely a second off the lead. I don't get it at all. It's as if he's literally performed a magic spell to get there.
A few safety cars, some luck in that situation, and just kind of avoid the chaos. That's sometimes how you get through here. As I think someone was making a pass there. Yeah. Down the order. If I had to take a guess, AMG and Tibalt was my guess.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, because Tibalt is still ahead. AMG has kind of caught the back of him. So let's see if he tries anything again. It would be very weird if he tries it here. But again, yeah, going back to Clark for a second, the gap's now 1.2. He is really starting to slow down there, and it kind of stinks. If he can just get another 3 tenths, at the very least he'd be in DRS range, and he could maybe take it a bit easy. So he has to try to get at least in DRS range to have a chance, and he needs to find at least another 10th or 2 to do that. But Dresse is, again, reeling in Volvikon, but again, 2.4 is the gap. We'll see if how much farther that falls down.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Dresse, 2.4 seconds. Volakongan could just wait in behind, give him P5, and then rely on Dresse try to drag him along onto the back of York. I mean, it's 10 seconds pretty much between them both, so it's a massive chasm between them both. But Yona leading the way, Nathan Clark in second, Ference in third. Looking at the stream, by the way, looking at Noisy, he's reporting his steward instance in lap 8, and his description of that incident was, on the inside my wheel isn't straight for any second and just pushes me off, leaving no room and taking me out. To be honest, I think we said it in commentaries. F1MG is now going to launch it around the outside and towards Tarzan, so that can wait. As now F1MG on fresh set of hards. That is probably the best move I've seen all night. F1MG through, and he's into 7, and Yona's made a mistake. Yona has made a mistake coming out of 7, and now it's only 3 tenths away for the lead of the race. Yona, massive mistake. Is the pressure beginning to get to him?
It's a situation where, again, maybe not having all that experience in TTML, maybe a pressure. We saw it last week as well. Pressure can build and pressure can cook. Eurobeat is activated. Here comes the boss music, the British driver, maybe the home faithful. All the orange is a little bit blind for that papaya orange McLaren, as now Clark is within 3 attempts. ERS does favor Yona by about 10 more percent. So it's a situation where Clark could be bogging down a little bit here.
This will
but
be
he's
easy.
Be close enough he can make something happen here. He's going to have DRS. It's 2, it's 1, it's going to happen. How defensive, how wide will the McLaren be?
He's derating down the straight, and it's like Verstappen and Hamilton down in towards turn 1, and Nathan Clark, the Brit, goes all the way around the outside of the Dutchman. Is this what we'll see on Sunday? Nathan and Gianna make contact, but Nathan's through. Nathan had the car ahead in towards turn 1, got the traction on the outside. Yona, I think, got clipped there slightly, but Nathan had that job done. He's through and he's into the lead of the race, and, in theory, Hamilton comes out on top of Verstappen.
Oh, that's probably going to irritate some fans in the comments there. So we'll see as now Tibos and Frenchie are fighting here for 8 to cut back of the field here a second. It looks like they're going to be side by side.
No,
they
touch! Contact!
Frenchie throw around and Tibos. They're both around here.
That could deploy a safety car. That could deploy a safety car.
We'll see what the stewards do here. That could be. He's a little bit off the circuit, so we'll see what they do. They like late ones, but we saw a noisy crash. They didn't throw anything for it, and I think it's just a little bit too late. We'll see if there's any last flag here. No, there's nothing. So the stewards are going to call it a racing incident. Oh, maybe not racing incident, but they're at least going to say no safety car deployed. And I think Yona was kind of hoping for one here because everyone would pit, and then we'd see a 5-lap shootout to the end. But I think Clark is kind of smiling ear to ear that did not get called here. He gets kind of close to the grass there. So he needs to take a conservative. He's got the tires, but maybe back it down just a bit because he's got a big gap. Fairness looks a little bit human here, 3 behind. But yeah, big breakaways now to cut back the Dressier chase here. Dressier now 1.55 Volvacon. But I think those tires are starting to fall off.
Yeah, will he catch enough before the final couple of laps of the race? We've still got 5 laps to go. Yona on the back of Nathan Clark, 0.6 of a second, 0.7 of a second, and still those mediums are probably the better tyre to be on. Simply Superman, by the way, is now 1.1 seconds on the back of Tibos for a top 10 finish at the minute. That the Irishman is on full from his qualifying ban, of course, doing a phenomenal job. But now Yona has really got to try and drive a little bit conservatively. As long as he stays within a second of Nathan, he has got a chance still of winning this race. Look at Nathan's ERS, 13%. Yona, 40%. He's got 27% more than Nathan at this stage, and as long as he stays within a second of him, and he uses that deployment to good effect, I think Yona could fight back here, final couple of laps, and get the race win.
Remember, though, you got to take into account Fairness's golden horseshoe, you could say, the past couple of weeks. It's a situation where maybe both crash out, going for a move in the corner 1, and next thing Fairness wins this race. So I wouldn't even throw that out of the question as well. So here's something else from Clark's fuel lights on. He's negative fuel right now. So it's a situation where Yona's good, but Clark could have to save a little bit near the end. If that thing runs out to the straights, it could allow Yona to catch him. So keep an eye on that light as well. That's even more drama here with 4 to go. So yeah, we'll see again if Clark has to save some fuel here, try to back up some corners. That may allow Yona to get a little bit closer. Now the gap is now 5 tenths. So Yona not done yet, but has to keep it clean. No mistakes from the McLaren driver, and he could win this. It's going to be, like you said, Hamilton Verstappen, Brits versus the Dutch. Only one will win this race, and the other will probably get second. But still, that's worth noting.
26% more ERS than him, down and towards someone. By the way, simply Superman down the inside on the Irishman, gets the move done on the Brit, so he's through and he's into 9th position. Tibos there in P10. There's a pit stop happening. Breaker Fenner's into the pit lane. Got excited for a minute there, but Nathan leading the way. Yona in second. Yona's a lot closer this time around. He's gained about 2 tenths on this lap compared to Nathan. Is the tyres now beginning to start to hit the cliff? The rears look shot. The rear left looks shot, I've got to say. And now Yona, 4 tenths away. He has been so astute with his driving here tonight, and he looks now on the back of Nathan. I don't think he's going to be close enough for the move down in towards turn 1, but talking of which, is he going to be close enough down in towards turn 1? New fastest lap of the race, down the inside line and towards Tarzan, and now Nathan surely going to give him the race lead, and he does. Yona into the lead of the race, and literally what I said has come true. Yona with his astute driving, more ERS to use up. Nathan's downfall is his ERS usage, and Yona retakes the lead, but Nathan now has got to, above hope, think that Yona is going to try and make a mistake like what he did earlier on.
Advantage for Verstappen, as you would say, to go back to your Hamilton analogy. So we're going to see here if Clark can answer back. Remember, fuel light is on. I keep bringing that up because he could run out on straight if he does not conserve. We don't know how much down he is, though.
It's
so
less than a litre, I think.
Yeah, it's less than a liter possibly, so we'll see what happens on that front. Again, Clark has to save his ERS. He's going to be out. He's using some on this long straight. Yep, sector 1. That's
contact down at turn 1. Raleigh and Neymar. I think Neymar tried to go down the inside. I saw that on the mini-map. And Raleigh's now ahead of Neymar. I think Neymar's trying to go down the inside line there, possibly get the move done, and there's been contact between them both. I saw that on the mini-map, albeit, but
I did too.
Neymar is back through. So, yeah.
Yep, Neymar going to get by, so maybe it was a daring overtake. Something will not happen. Well, here comes Nathan Clark. 3 attempts. He's not really close enough. Yeah, he's not close enough, especially he's going to be D-line down the straight here. He's going to have to save his ERS here. He's got to try something, but he's got to be aggressive because his tires are probably a little bit more for Hertz than Jona's are. So he's kind of in the catch-22. He has to, maybe to catch-23, you could say. Got to save a little bit of fuel, got to save those tires and the ERS for one more run down the straight. But where do you save it, especially at a track like this? And if you save too much, you won't have to be close enough to even use it at all. So he's got to try to figure something out.
It'll be middle sector. I think turns 8 and 9 is probably the way he's going to try and go in terms of serving up his ERS. And use up that ERS to good effect. He shouldn't use any on this lap whatsoever. If he's got a chance on the back of Jona, do not use up any ERS this lap because Jona is now beginning to just drift away into the distance. The final lap is about to begin here in Zandvoort, and I've got to be honest, we've had safety cars, we've had drama, but Jona and Nathan, this battle is coming down to the absolute wire here in Zandvoort. We're going to get a different winner compared to Ferens. Ferens' 100% record gone. Jona and Nathan for the race win, 5-10 separating, going on to the final lap through Harry Lundijk.
They may take each other out here, you never know, so we'll see what happens. Jona gets a good X here. It's not going to be close enough for Clark to do his ERS, but Jona's going to have the toe here. The only question mark is, can Clark get close to the try someone down that long straight at the end of Sector 1? That's probably his last chance. So we're going to see if Clark is going to be just close enough per se, but he's going to have to get close off into this corner here, or else it's probably going to be curtains. You can see a stricken car just behind him. I think that's Rally GT.
Yep.
Thought it could have been Fairness for a second, but it is not, so don't get confused, viewers. So here comes Clark, going to go past the Armco sign. He's going to go past, he's going to get a toe, open at the ERS fuel light is blinking for both drivers, and it looks like Clark's not going to be close enough, so he's going to have to hope Jona makes a mistake. It looks like he went just a bit wide, but that Clark looks fine as French was retired from the session. But here comes Clark down the inside again, not going to be close enough, and I'll let you take the finish here, James.
Yeah, Jona, I think, has got this race now sewn up. Nathan is really beginning to struggle on those tyres as well. Dressé is only 5/10 away on the back of Volakongen, and do you know what? Jorg's really close to back of Ferens as Raleigh goes for a spin. In the background, literally go Raleigh crossing, if you get that pun. Jona in towards turn 12, and now through turn 11 and 12, Jona, I think, has got this 6/10 of a second. He drove so astutely. That ERS usage and that ERS consumption was the better. And Nathan is out of fuel. Yeah, Nathan is out of fuel. More drama here, but Jona ran the final corner to win. Is Nathan going to even get second? Ferens has ran the final corner through the banking. This could be a fault to finish. I think he's going to get him. Ferens is going to get him. Will Jorg get him as well? No! Nathan finishes third, and Ferens gets second in the end. Nathan runs out of fuel. We spoke about it. It was less than a litre going with 4 laps to go, and Nathan now out of P2. Ferens gets P2 instead, and he could have easily ended up off the podium. Nathan in P3, Jorg in P4, 2/10 of a second. He'd be thanking God, really, that the banking at Zandvoort wasn't any longer.
Yeah, he's going to be thanking himself that as well. It looked like he was struggling. My prediction almost came right. Jorg was 1 away, about 2/10 of a second from getting it. But Clark just ran out. He was just leaning forward, just like, please, please, please. And here comes Fairness, and he'll end up recovering for a P2 at the very least. But Jona, hats off to him. He finally gets McLaren their first victory, as it seems like they were struggling to get past that Alfa Romeo car. And now finally, they got their first win in race 5. Is it too late to make a championship push? Unless Fairness has a very rough day, it's probably still not looking good, but you never know with TTML.
You never know with TTML indeed. And Jona, this is his second race and it's his first win. Fantastic stuff. Driver of the day awarded by the in-game fans, simply Superman. I think not, I'm afraid. I think Jona definitely deserves driver of the day. I think it was a good drive. Don't get us wrong.
I want to give it the Break FN, though, partially just because he made that 4-stop work, and honestly, this close, still gets a podium spot, so I'm kind of tempted to tip Break FN my hat a little bit, just because he made a 4-stop work and almost won this race.
I think you mean Nathan, not Break FN.
No, Nathan, yeah.
That's the other Ferrari was on about.
My mistake. I was like, my brain was thinking break. But yeah, Nathan. Sorry, Nathan. You get pot. Now you get my driver of the day because I made that mistake. You get my Pepsi token. Here you go.
There we go. So Nathan gets driver of the day. I think Jona, honestly, that final lap, he got the fastest lap of the race as well. So it is a clean sweep from Jona. and the front four finishing the same positions, which is unbelievable. Jona leading the way, wins here in Zandvoort. So, and it's a Dutch 1-2 as well. Ferenc getting second, extends his championship lead further. Nathan in third. What could have it been if he didn't run out of field? I think he would have finished second quite easily in the end. Jorg in P4, Volokongen in fifth, and look at how far the top four have pulled away. Nearly 20 seconds from Jona to Volokongen in fifth. Dresse in sixth, F1MG in seventh, Superman in eighth. Lewis Rock's the only 3-second penalty inside the top 10, with Matt Tibbles running off the top 10. Tom in 11th, Neymar in 12th, Break FN in 13th, Rale in 14th. He did finish under his own accord, so he did finish in P14, just a lap down. Frankie Fro, Honey Badger, Noisy and Sionis all out of the race at various stages throughout. But Jona wins, Ferenc in second, Nathan in third. Shall we try and get the top three in?
Yeah, they usually don't. Like, we know that Ferenc and Jona didn't come last time. We'll see if maybe Clark does. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe they'll come in.
Maybe they'll come in. I know Jona. I've spoken to Jona before. So he should be joining. He really should be joining. And I think with a race win, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you try and join? Yeah. But my God, what a race here in Zandvoort. We've only got one more week to go, of course, until the Christmas break. And one more race to go, in fact, in terms before the Christmas break as well. And looking at the calendar, where do we go next week? Well, we go to Russia. 16th and 19th of December, we go to Russia, and I was literally not getting excited for that, but Russia always delivers.
It does. It's usually a good circuit in game. I always seem to have fun races there when I drive there, so I'm not going to tip my hat and say it's a bad. Maybe in real life it doesn't have good races, but it seems like in the F1 games it always seems to have at least one good race or two, so we'll see what that could happen there. But yeah, especially with those long straights, though, it's going to be a situation of if you could break the toe, it may be curtains and you may be winning this race or losing this race in accordance.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think Russia, there'll be a lot of contact, I think, throughout that race. Don't be surprised if you see any safety cars out on track. And I think, honestly, with this grid in F2, we're bound to get a lot of overtaking as well, which would be fantastic, of course, for you guys at home, of course, being the viewers, and for us in the commentary box to take you through the action before the Christmas break obviously comes along. To run you through the rest of the calendar, by the way, before we get to that Christmas break, we've got Russia, of course, and then after the Christmas break, it is a 2-week Christmas break, and then we're back between the 6th and 9th of January in Canada. Very good track. I haven't commentated around there on this game before. So Canada in the 6th and 9th of January, France for the second sprint race of the season, and then it's Mexico. And who on earth decided to do Singapore for the final round of the season? I'll be coming and having you later on.
Madman indeed. He saw some chaos. Like, I don't want to do Abu Dhabi. Let's do some chaos here. I was hoping they did Suzuka or United States GP so I could have some fun. But I'll take Singapore. It's a little bit of chaos. It'll be fun to see some drivers take some aggressive strategies. But hopefully that championship isn't locked up by then, though. Hopefully something can change here and the winds of tie change. Sorry, Fairness. You deserve your championship run here you're doing right now, but we also do like to see some battling here. So maybe we'll have to wait and see what happens. But if he does win, he does deserve it.
Yeah, I think Ferenc, honestly, drove a fantastic... If that was his first race without no line, he drove brilliantly. I think he finished in third in the end. Obviously, without Nathan running out of field, he did finish second, did Ferenc. And he drove really well. Off the pace, as you would expect. But I know next week, if he's going to be like that again, he is going to come back a lot stronger compared to what he showed tonight here in Zandvoort. And I think Russia is probably the track to try and bounce back at. So if he wants that, I would say, 90% record now, to try and get 9 wins out of 10, of course, he'll be on fire next week. And I'm sure it's one look to the future as well, because if he's running no line, and he eventually starts to run no assist, we could be seeing him in F1. And by the way, in terms of how the championship has ran so far, we could be seeing him dominate there as well.
Yeah, he did. He could easily dominate around there as well. But Russia could be a little bit of a circuit where there could be some question marks. So we'll have to see. Canada, we know, is a kind of a corner cut in paradise where if you rack it up too quick, something could happen. So yeah, again, don't put the championship home here as well, and we could see a lot of chaos still here to come.
Have you invited the top 3 in?
Oh. I thought you were doing that. Sorry, my mistake. I was just sitting here. I was like, oh yeah, they'll just come when they... I was not thinking there. My 100% mistake there. Yeah, I'll add them now. So yeah, Nathan. I was looking down, like looking at the standings. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna think this through here. That was a total brain fart by me. And we're looking for the third driver. That was... Oh god, why am I brain farting now? Jona, there he is. Yep, Jona. There we go. Got him. Don't worry.
Yeah, Jona did ask for interviews, so we're expecting him to come in at least.
Yep. I'll apologize to Yona on that one. Sorry, Yona. I was not thinking that. I was like, oh yeah, James has probably got this. It's like, just not thinking he's not streamed, so he's not doing it. So I'm like, yeah, just sit back.
But Yona is here, and Yona,
Yes.
a fantastic win from you out on track. P1 in the end. And obviously, your form coming around Zandvoort, I know we saw in FRL a couple of weeks ago, you DNF'd out of the race. So was that always plaguing on your mind, thinking that you were going to try and overcome that? And obviously, you did that in fine style, getting pole position.
Yeah. Say that again? I'm a bit flustered right now.
I'm literally saying, yeah, you've
That
finished.
we all.
You DNF'd in FRL is what I'm trying to
yeah.
say. And then obviously, finishing P1 tonight and obviously qualifying on pole must be a really good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it totally was. The Ferrari got me scared for a bit, but luckily I have a god-tier legend engineer on my side. Shout out to NRX Marinarat, who helps me almost every race with just calming down, with the strategy, with just the tiny bits on what's best to do, and of course I have my own say in that, but it's always nice to have someone that's got your back and just tells you how it is. And I mean, I don't know if you saw it on stream, but I almost lost it out of Schijfvlak. But I had the car control to keep the car on the road. I was debating with Marina Rad how close P2 was gonna get, but in that moment, of course, he was right on the back of me straight away. So it was all about. I was like, okay, let the defending begin. I had more ERS. I had like 40% at the time. And he told me like that the Ferrari was on 0 almost all the way through on the end, the last stint, and that he was gonna be on very worn tires at the end. So I knew my chances were good at still winning the race. And before that, I mean, the hard stint was just pretty good. I got past Dresse and. Crucially stayed out of the DRS zone from Ferrens, and I noticed the medium runner was catching up at the end, but I mean, it worked out. It was hectic for me, just keeping on, keeping a good pace, even getting a fast lap in the end as well. So that really showed me that I was driving very well, and yeah, a bit of a retribution for the DNF at FRL, where I also was at strong pace in that race.
Yeah, definitely. I think you qualified second, if I'm not mistaken, in that race. So obviously going one better there. Talk us through the final couple of laps, though, because we mentioned in commentary that you dropped him behind, about 0.7 per second behind Nathan. Did you always feel that you were going to get him back with that ERS advantage that he had? Yeah,
definitely. I knew, of course, he was on the softer compound. So when he overtook me, it was a bit like just looking how fast he could go, how easy it was to follow, and just to keep in that DRS. I was starting to discuss with my engineer when the best moment was to overtake him again. With the ERS levels in mind, and that his tires were dropping off, so I was pretty confident I could get him back. And then at one point I said, okay, I'm gonna go for it with minimum amount of ERS used, and I just risked it into the inside line. He left the space, it was clean, it was nice, felt good, and I held on to the gap, and at one point, of course, he could save just a little bit ERS, but it was not enough. I adjusted my wing to 10-11 before the race, just to have the little edge on the straight line speed. So I think that worked out well.
Yeah, it was a fantastic drive, I've got to say, from your perspective. You certainly get my drive of the day. I think Pepsi's given it to somebody else, unfortunately. But Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
You make it sound like I was like, he did a great drive there, but I'm just tipping my hat to the four-stop there. That was impressive. I'll give it, like, Jonah had a great drive, though, so he'd be second in line. Like, it's a close one. It's like when you got, like, a 32% vote there. It's close. But back to my, I guess I got two. I'll take two questions. One, how does it feel? I know they'd be virtual fans, but how does it feel winning on a circuit that you consider a home race, as they would say?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that much more special than any other race. I mean, every win is a good win in my book, and I don't have that many, so I'm really happy with this one. Of course, it's in the Netherlands, so yeah.
True.
I mean, that's for more people the case. So I wouldn't be the only one, but it's no, it's not like because it's Zandvoort, it's that much more special now.
True. I figure. I also know sometimes some people do put patriotism on the various. Maybe it's their favet track, so you never know. So I thought I'd ask.
I have to say, it does feel more special that it's my second race in the league, and that I already got my first win. So that means much to me. That when I start the season from the beginning, I may be in contention for the title.
Oh, you probably definitely would. But I guess going to go my second question is that it doesn't. I mean, you got a long way to go to maybe make the championship up here. Again, highly unlikely, but you never know. But
how many races still?
5 races left, I think, today. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 5 to go. And so it's again, you're about 100 points back, so it's highly unlikely. Yeah. But again, if fairness misses a race or two, next thing you know, the gap gets closed, and then you're to 60, and then maybe 30. So you never know. But I guess my point is, with fairness most likely making the jump next year, the main TTML division, you may farm, you may not. But you will definitely have a full season next season. So I guess the question mark is that do you feel confident? I would say going to whatever your plans for TTML next season, with especially how good form you have here today.
I'm staying for sure. It's good to have a league on the Thursday, and I got time for it. So I'm definitely staying. I'm a competitive guy, so I'm always going for the best position possible, and of course that's the win. And I. In my league racing career, and that's not been very long, I've never been in direct contention for the title, so it would be nice to at one point get there, and maybe it would be the first time for me to be that at TTML. I'm really looking forward to James losing his mind.
I think you and me both for him as well, but I think you may just give the rest of the league a little bit of a fright there by just saying you'd be coming back for the next season. So watch out, rest of the field. We may have another Zoidema situation come on our hands. So so we may have the next Zoidema or even fairness situation. So be cautious, F2 field. Just know that he's coming and he's not going to be gentle.
Well, I'm gonna be I'm gonna keep it clean, but I'm gonna.
I know you're gonna keep it clean, but I mean, you can keep this.
You know,
you're gonna keep it clean, but you're not gonna be like slowing it down for them. You're gonna be putting the pace down. So, yeah, they're gonna be worried about that.
Pedal to the metal, mate.
That is indeed. That's a good saying. Good ideal. When in doubt, flat out. To quote Colin McRae. But thank you for joining us here today. Thank you for joining us here today, Jonah. And we'll probably see you again next week. We'll never know. You seem like you're in good form.
Definitely. Thanks for the comms again. And Luca, if you're still listening, shout out, man. Shout out. It's my engineer is Luca. His name is Luca.
That's who the guy is in the comment section. I thought I could recognise him. But yeah, go on, enjoy your evening, Jonah.
Yeah, thanks, man. Have a good
Very
evening
welcome
as well.
Indeed. And we'll now move on, of course, to the man who finished in P2, and it's his first interview of the season, Ferenc. And Ferenc, I may as well try and make up for the last 5 interviews that you missed. It's been a totally dominant season from your perspective. Second place tonight, not the result I'm sure you were expecting, but talk us through it. Yeah, and yeah, I was gonna say, in terms of that, because obviously you only turned off like no assists a couple of days ago, I think. And did that have any effect in terms of your performance tonight? Oh, apparently we can't hear you, according to Dresse in the comment section.
Yeah, you may have... Hold on. It could be a party situation. So, yeah, go... I'll quickly let them know this while we quickly go here. Go to Party, and then go to Party Settings, and then make sure you allow your voice to be shared as always allow.
What?
Always allow, yep. Turn that on, and then you should be good to go.
I think I have it. So,
If not, it may be a problem with PS5 to PS4.
I don't know. I hope they can hear me now.
Can we hear him now?
Yeah, can you hear him now? I know it's the old Verizon commercial, but can you hear him now?
Say something so we can be here, and then
Yeah.
Dresse can say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we can hear you."
We can... Wait, what?
Oh, we can hear him. Fantastic.
All right.
Dresse has just
All right.
literally put that, which is great.
Thank you, Dresse.
Thank you very much, Dresse. His jokes, by the way, are terrible in the comment section. They're worse as my puns, honestly. But obviously, you've been totally dominant this season, Ferenc, and I think that domination has spawned from, obviously, you running the assist. You were just saying there, obviously, you've turned off no assists now, I think 3 or 4 days in. And I was literally, the last question that I asked was, did that affect your performance tonight?
Yeah. If you look at my PB, my qualifying time was 4/10 slower than what I did in the other league race. So yeah, definitely some time on the table. But
Yeah, I think we said at the end of the I think we said at the end of the race as well. In terms of how your performance, you're only going to get better, I think, in terms of you turning off no assist, and I totally commend you for doing that. And obviously, I think it's one look ahead possibly to next season, because I'm sure you're going to be aiming for F1 next season.
of course.
Which is good to hear. That's exactly what I want to hear, because you'll be commentating by me once again on a possibly Sunday night again, which is be fantastic. But Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
I guess I'll throw out one real fast as well. I guess we got to make up 5 weeks worth of content here, but you've been basically destroying the field, as they would say, the past 5 weeks, and you got one hand metaphorically on the trophy right now with 5 rounds to go. Does that change your driving style at all, or are you just going to keep doing what you're doing, keep chugging along, and anyone to get in the way be damned?
I just driving like I always do. Smart, fast, and at the end we will see where we end up. But yeah. I will not change my approach to a race. I will just do the same as always. Pedal to the middle, as they say.
Yeah, take a line from Yona we just said, or when in doubt, flat out. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But that is good to see, again, that you're... Because some drivers do kind of take the foot off. And, again, you never know. 2 rounds, you crash out. Next thing, the gap's now 30 or 40. And chaos may arise. But keep your foot down. That's good to see. So, I think that's all I have for me. So, thank you for joining us here today, Fairness. Unless James has anything else he wants to say real fast.
No, that is all. Apart from, go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Thanks for the comms today again.
Very welcome indeed, and that concludes our interviews. Great to have interviews, by the way, of course, here for TTML F2 this season, both to Yona and to Ferenc. Thank you so much for joining us. Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you. Your final thoughts on what was a terrific race, I've got to say, in Zandvoort, and your driver of the day.
Well, I'll say one quick thing is make sure you always fuel up your kids. Fuel up your car. Make sure you fuel up your kids while they need food. But fuel up your car to the fullest, or else you may run it to the line. But yeah, great chaos, great racing here today. Very fun. Saw some good overtakes. I don't think it chumps Hungary with how much chaos it was, but definitely still a fun race indeed. And I got Yona. I'm sorry. You get like half a yen, but I gotta give my driver today still to the other Ferrari in question, Nathan, because I just that 4-stop work and he was this close to making it work, and I gotta tip my hat to that. Kind of going against having that break in front wing, rebounding for a third, almost a second, almost a win. So unlike Yona and Ferris, who were kind of leading the way most of the race, Nathan had to overcome adversity to make it work. So that's why I give him my driver today token, just 1 over. So sorry, Yona.
Yeah, I think honestly, in terms of both of their performances, they were really good. Nathan obviously drove fantastic for 4 stops. For him to be, nearly 5 seconds off the lead in the end, obviously ran out of field, but he was pretty much a second behind Yona for the entirety of that final lap. What a performance, I've got to say. And if he can do that every week, goodness knows where he's going to be next week in Russia, of course. Yeah, I mean, Russia next week, Who knows what's going to happen? Will Ferrens return back to form and return to winning ways? Will Yona pick up a second win? You just have to wait and find out, of course. More action to come, though, on the League Racing TV channel. It is, of course, F4 and F5 tomorrow night at 8 PM UK time. You can join Conti and Funky Chicken for F4, and F5 is Pariah and Buck taking you through the action. And then we are back for Sunday night racing as well. TTML F1 around here at Zandvoort. Myself and Luke Etheridge taking you through the stream, as always, on a Sunday night. And then, of course, we go into the CWC action on Monday. CWC League 1 and 2 are taking place on Monday. It is Japan, and it is at 7 PM UK time, I'm tempted to say.
It's actually 8. It's 8. It's 1 hour later. It's 3 PM Eastern, 8 PM UK time.
I've said it right all of these weeks, and then I get it wrong. Terrible.
Hey, we all make mistakes, James. At least your mistakes are more minuscule than mine.
Exactly. Nobody noticed. It's 8 PM UK time for CWC on Monday night. And then, of course, you can have a look at TTML GT as well, which I think is coming up next week, if I'm not mistaken. Hang on, I need to check the calendar. I'm pretty sure it is. It is. We're at Monza next week, a break week this week, but TTML GT back on Wednesdays, and that is, of course, Monza. No, it's not. It's Tuesdays, in fact. What am I thinking
Tuesdays,
of?
and then remember the new league's on Wednesdays of doing as well.
Yes,
and that's on Wednesdays.
The new league, which I will come on to when I find the
It's got a name,
thing.
BTC...
FTR BTCC.
There we go. Yep, thank you.
Full Throttle Racing. I've heard of them, Full Throttle Racing, and they were a very good league on GT Sport, so I think it's fantastic to have them on board. I'm a bit of a GT Sport expert as well, but you're not going to be seeing me anywhere near touching the game, to be honest, because otherwise I'll be crashing off Luke Etheridge in a race every single week, and we don't want that to happen, because obviously...
Oh, we don't want the commentators to fight it out?
Well, I was a very good GT Sport driver back in the day, but yeah, it's not for me. Commentary is for me at the minute, so I don't think you're going to be seeing me there. But you can, of course, tune in. Seasons start the 29th of December. If I'm not mistaken, there is still one space available. You can contact SMM_Rotary on Discord if you do want to tune in and get involved with FTO moving forward for the BTCC Championship. Season 18, believe it or not, is going to be live on the channel on Tuesday night. But that is it, on Wednesday night, I should say. But that is it from us, from myself and Pepsi. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you're going to stay safe in this crazy world that we are all living in. I know we're under more restrictions here in the UK, but please stay safe. Get your booster jab whenever you get it, and whenever you get invited, and obviously take the precautions necessary to have a very safe and Merry Christmas. And of course, I will wish you that, of course, next week at the end of the F2 stream. But for myself and Pepsi, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, goodbye.